3, 2, 1. I'd like to take his face off. That's a quote.
His face off.
Yeah, that's a quote from Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Were you doing the hand movement as well?
Oh, could you tell?
Eyes,
Yeah,
ears,
I could hear
everything
Yeah.
off.
I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast.
I'm Face Off from Face Off the Movie Maker.
And I'm Carnage from Venom.
Okay.
That part is so funny.
There,
Fucking
you could
Face
say that
Off.
about a lot of parts.
We'll get to it. Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah, quotes from
Venom.
the famous movie Venom, Let There Be Carnage, where Tom Hardy takes his face off and gives it to the other guy. What's his
It
name
started
again?
with Venom eating a bunch of waffles.
Oh yeah,
funny.
that was funny.
Yeah, it's like a Marvel movie.
You know, okay, like I was kind of into like the goofiness in the trailer for like the first 10 seconds, and then after that, it was just
Then it
unbearable.
just becomes kind of boring.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you're just gonna do this the whole movie, I guess. And then what was with the song choice? Like, I get that it's a gigantic like trailer trope
Yeah.
right now to take an old pre-existing song and make it more epic or more like slower and
Mhm.
sad, but it's just like I don't even
Slow
understand
cover,
the
yeah.
point of using the "One Is the Loneliest Number" song
I miss Eminem.
because there's two of you, right?
I miss Eminem as well.
Venom! Gonna
Yeah,
go get him!
I'm gonna be
Carnage!
so mad if Eminem doesn't have a song called Carnage,
I think we need that.
and it's just the same song, but he says Carnage instead of Venom. I think we do
Andy
need that.
Serkis is directing. It's
Oh
weird.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. On one hand, I'm like, well, he's worked with these kind of special effects that are combining like real world with silly CG stuff with the 8 movies and Lord of the Rings and whatnot. I can see some sense to that, I guess. And he's worked in like the Marvel universe, so he knows how that all works out. There's a link there.
But he's never directed a good movie, has he?
He directed one movie.
Yeah, it was like
Oh, he
the
did
Jungle
that,
Book that
Yeah, the Jungle Book,
conflicted with
that Netflix movie. Really creepy looking film.
Oh, there was another one I was thinking of. It was like a period drama. I forgot who was in it.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna IMDb him right now. Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle, which is what they
Yeah.
changed it
Yeah.
to not conflict with Papa Favreau's masterpiece. And then another movie called Breathe in 2017, and then The Ruins of Empire is a
think
TV
that's
movie
it.
in 2018. None of which look like things that I would enjoy.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Looks not good.
Oh, I just looked at who's writing it too.
Uh-oh.
It's the same person as the first movie and the 50 Shades of Grey and Saving Mr. Banks.
50
so
Grades of Shay.
50 Grades of Shade.
It's about a man named Shay who teaches at a school and teaches 50 children. And
He
grades
wrote
them.
all of those, or just one of them?
Well, no, it's written by Kelly Marcel,
Mm-hmm.
who wrote the first movie and 50 Shades and Saving Mr. Banks. So.
Check out that poster on IMDb.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that.
I was watching the trailer, and I can't say that it's like really my thing, but it felt really fetishy. This like the first movie already awoke that sort of thing in some people. Like there were
Yeah.
some people like really splooging on the internet for the first scenes in the first movie, like
He's that kind of character, yeah.
vor people, and also the transformation goopy kind of like thing. And now I'm just looking at this poster on IMDb. It's got a POV shot from inside Carnage's mouth with all this like these saliva strands dangling
Yeah.
from his teeth while like whoever
POV
made this
vor,
poster is part of that crowd, right? Like the guy definitely went up to Sony and was like, please give me a job working on Venom. I will do the
Oh my
best
God.
job.
Or they just found him.
So-
They're like, yeah, he made the best poster. It's just the most detailed. It's like, the
Oh
most-
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's why
you put in that kind of detail when it's your thing.
yeah, when it's his,
There was
when
like
it's his
a-
weird kink.
There was like a Canadian commercial, this like PSA way back in the 90s, and it was like, what's your thing? And there was like kids discovering like, I play tuba, I can make noise like a dinosaur. And now I'm just imagining like it's Vor. It's Venom Vor.
Yeah, I'm Carnage.
Yeah. Maybe I guess maybe the dinosaur kid was that too.
I mean, it looks exactly like, I guess, what the people who like Venom want more of. Like
Yeah.
the black
Yeah.
goop fighting the red goop and the big, just like explosion of color.
A real
and,
slimy
like,
movie.
slow-mos.
Real wet.
Yeah, slimy, sticky. Venom's like, I guess, a good guy again.
I
'Cause he's
know,
like
that's
a
so
vigilante
stupid.
hero.
I just wanted like a fucking villain movie, but it couldn't even deliver on that. And the whole marketing for the first movie was like, what was the tagline on the poster? It was like fucking evil something. It was like it totally played into the expectations that it would be an evil movie, because like Suicide Squad was a thing around the time too, and I don't know, like people were definitely itching for that kind of thing. And then they're like, let's just take
Yeah.
this character that is a villain in the Spider-Man franchise, but he's the good guy, and he saves the Earth, and he empathizes with Tom Hardy, and apparently he was a dweeb on his own planet or something, and he feels sorry for Tom Hardy, and they save the world. And they only eat bad guys. Okay, that's not a villain movie. Fuck off.
Yeah, it's like a lame anti-hero thing.
It's a lame uncle hero.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson looked a bit like an uncle. What did you think of him?
We didn't see much of him. We saw more at the post-credits scene in the first movie than we did in the trailer for this. So
He's a good actor.
he is.
That's all I can say about him in that trailer.
I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm going to see it, but
Oh
my,
yeah.
my hopes aren't the highest.
I
gotta
hope
admit.
it's more stupid than the first movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's what it needs.
Yeah, the problem is Andy Serkis is directing, so I can't even like. It can't even be like epic like Aquaman. We're not going to see any like James Wan shit. You know.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. I want stupid and cheesy, but also like a talented director. I think those are like the perfect mix. You
Yeah.
know?
Your Raimis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi, exactly.
Who already did Venom?
Oh yeah, yeah, he did. Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
There were a few villains in that movie. We need this Venom, Tom Hardy Venom, to coexist in the Tobey Maguire universe, and then everything will be right.
I mean, I'd pay for that. I'd see that. We'll probably get it at some point.
I mean, you would pay for it because you'd lose a bet.
Well, actually, I was getting a bit scared about the bet because there was like the little
Oh
spider
yeah, the
moment
fucking
in the
stupid
trailer.
bat. Yeah.
Oh,
There's,
what
like,
happened in
a
the trailer?
spider
I
that
didn't
gets
even notice.
squished.
Oh,
I don't
spider
know if
got
that was them
squished?
alluding to.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if that was alluding them to Spider-Man or something. I
maybe.
don't know. I don't know what they're planning.
Just
They're
fucking
crazy over there.
Blue balling everybody.
Yeah. There's a spider.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks great. Can't wait to see it.
Looks great. That's what I think.
Yeah.
It looks
Looks like
amazing.
a 10
Yeah,
out of 10.
hyped.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 trailer for a movie that probably be even higher. Probably be 11. Speaking of great movies, Alex finally watched Mortal Kombat, and we're dying
Yeah.
to know what he thinks of it.
Sick.
So yeah, I was fine with it for what it was, but I mean, I honestly can't remember that much about it. It seemed like it was made for people who already know everything about Mortal Kombat, and it was kind of placating them
Kinda,
as
yeah.
fans. Whereas,
Yeah.
as someone who's never really gotten into the games, I was kind of hoping this would get me into the universe a little bit, but it was actually kind of convoluted and hard to follow as someone who isn't that
Yeah.
into the characters, and because every 10 minutes it was like changing who was on screen, and it felt like a different movie now and again. But then
The world's like ridiculous. It's like a fighting game.
yeah, it's so silly.
So they barely even have a story to adapt.
And I was okay with it when it was being ridiculous with the
Yeah,
violence
exactly.
and doing because that's the only thing I know about Mortal Kombat is watching like the babalities on YouTube, all the fatality compilations. And,
The
I discovered
friendships.
babalities were a thing like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
hopefully they put one of those in the sequel, but
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed like a jumping off point for maybe one of the sequels would be awesome. Maybe like Mortal Kombat 3 is going to be the one where they get the right director and they have the budget and they're able to just pull off the
James
like
Wan.
just a kill
Yeah,
compilation.
it'll be like Fast
Yeah.
and Furious, where like the 5th one and the 6th one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, by like the 7th one, it's good.
Like the best Fast and Furious movies are 5 and 7. Yeah.
Give James
Yeah,
Wan
exactly.
more movies.
I like the line, he's about to get his soul sucked.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was like
that
the
was
most standout
funny.
line to me.
Did you like the action?
I liked when it was basically just doing a live action version of those fatalities. But I don't know what else it was really.
So just the kills, but not really the choreography?
Again, I don't remember that much about it. It was another blue and red movie, kind of like Dingle versus Kong.
Yeah.
And when there's just not much going on character-wise or story-wise, I kind of tune out when action is not engaging me. And if it was just the violence that was entertaining me, it was, that was kind of what I was waiting for. Because, I mean, every time a new character showed up that I didn't recognize, and it was clearly kind of edited around like an audience reaction or something, or, the way they do it with the fan kind of response built into it. I was just like, what? Who's this guy who's like his arms ripped off and then he's like a half a robot? It's really stupid, and I was never expecting anything other than that. But I think his biggest problem was just too long and stupid.
Yeah,
and it's not even that long, and it's still too long.
Yeah, it just felt long.
Yeah, the second act drags. I thought the action was good for the most part. I thought so. It was pretty entertaining.
Too much exposition, and I wasn't really that entertained by the action. And also, if we're going to be on this topic again, I do want to defend myself a little on the killing women and children in movies sort of thing, because I didn't notice until I was going over the thing in the editing. And Alex, you said, "Why are you so obsessed with that?" But in my perspective, I'm not the one obsessed with it. It's the filmmakers that are obsessed with it. They create the exception to the rule. I'm asking for consistency. In a normal, unbiased world, you would treat women and children deaths the same as just other people deaths, right? You would treat the wife and children death as just regular people, regular human beings, right? But all filmmakers
this is like one of the most
games,
insignificant points. I wouldn't even lower the fucking score for this.
It's annoying.
But, okay.
If you're allowed to be annoyed every time they use like whatever violin sound effect that you really hate or any other random trope, it's something that reminds me it's a movie, and it's something that shows that they're willing to compromise and be cowards for the sake of either a rating or to appease this imaginary person that would just be like, oh, that's taking it a little bit too far. It's like, well, what is your movie? You're supposed to be like blood and gore. You're supposed to, like, I want it to be taken further. I love shit like fucking Gaspar Noé films.
Yeah, blood and gore toward people who are in the Mortal Kombat. You really compared it to Gaspar Noé.
Yeah. I wasn't comparing it in terms of like artistic merit or like creating something that's like avant-garde or whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about like pushing the boundaries of being like, show me something that's actually going to make me be like, oh wow, that's actually pretty intense, Yeah,
this is ridiculous. The fighters, when they die, they come back to life. Those two characters don't. It's like, they're just like these innocent people. You're not supposed to think it's fun when they die.
But
like,
no.
Like, I don't even get the point.
We're not supposed to think it's fun when they die, but we're supposed to feel some sort of like
not.
Emotional.
It's sympathetic towards Scorpion's backstory. Like that's the only thing it's there for.
Yeah, but like, help me get into the character. Like fuck, show me some loss.
I don't think that helps get in the character. I think that's a really minor thing.
It's like if you're not going to develop them, especially, which they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. It pisses me off because it's every single movie, and it feels like they're the ones that are paying more attention to it because it's always the same thing over and over and over. You can't kill children in video games. Like, why? Because it's wrong to kill children. It's like, okay, well, is it not also wrong to kill adults? Like, fuck off. Like, don't make invincible children in your video games, Bethesda. It's so annoying. If I throw a bomb at a child in a video game, I want them to blow up.
You want to frustrate them.
Yeah. Well, like Cyberpunk was like that. In Cyberpunk, you couldn't kill any of the kids.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
But imagine selling a product and a product where you could kill children in it. I mean, I don't think.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't make a game like that. But then,
then don't put children in your game. Have a fucking alternate universe.
That's why I like Grand Theft Auto, because there's no kids anywhere. It's just like a bunch of adults running around.
Yeah, that solves that problem. Just don't put children in your video game.
The people you run over is just like, oh, they're adults. It's fine, and it's a video game.
Yeah, it does piss me off.
There's definitely a line that, especially any kind of
why
giant film. Media
why is that line there from like a moral perspective? Why is a child's life more valuable than an adult?
I mean, I don't really give a shit one way or another. It's a movie. Just I don't know. There's clearly a difference between when Cabal or whatever the idiots get killed in the movie that are the fighters and like, I don't know, an innocent person.
Yeah, kids always
treated
represent
differently.
Innocence, don't they? Like pure untouched innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they although GTA and every video game allows you to kill like animals, like dogs and shit, you know, like that's just as innocent, if not more.
Yeah, it's a video game.
It's an annoying exception. I feel like it represents caveman brain, and I'm anti-caveman brain. It really annoys me.
I just wish the movie kind of leaned into what it was good at a bit more, have a bit more of that violence, maybe change the tone up a little bit. You have either got to take it so seriously and have everyone play it so straight that the humor comes from the absurdity of that, or be a little more tongue-in-cheek with it, and I feel like it didn't really do either very well.
I agree with exactly what you said. It's a good jumping off point, and like in sequels they need to hammer in on the action. More action, more craziness. Yeah, but if they put more money into it, because this is $50 million, the budget, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Looks pretty good for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cast Walking's $100 million. So,
oh dear.
Great movie.
I thought this film looked better.
I think I gave it like a 1.5 star. So,
I thought the effects were good. I thought it was a pretty well done movie, like all things considered. I think it'll hold up. It's just it's not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. It's not even as good as Face Off. Like it's not even that kind of fun bad movie. But I think if you're gonna watch it and you're a fan of the stuff, like it's got some good action.
If you're a fan of the game, I'm sure you'd get way more out of it than I would.
Yeah, R-rated movie where the only actual deaths were off screen. Great. it's so lame.
Well, the movie people who die who come back.
It's a stupid baby movie. It wasn't even hardcore.
It's made for basically teenagers. I know it's rated R, but so is Deadpool. It's like juvenile kind of. Yeah, like the violence is silly.
If I were a
That's
baby,
what I mean. I don't want the
movie.
violence to be. Yeah, I want the violence to be silly, like it is in this movie. People get lit on fire. The fatalities are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Show
me something real.
Just fine. Yeah.
What would you give it out of 10, Alex?
Oh, so a 1.5 star. I've settled on.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, like I'll probably never think about it again. But it had the odd thing I enjoyed.
Maybe the cinematic experience aided me a little bit too.
Yeah, that probably would have helped, to be honest.
Yeah, dumb movie, 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I totally understand. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. Definitely, 100%. There's that other movie.
You
guys talk about it because I haven't seen it.
Versus Machines.
Connected, you mean? Oh yeah, I'm just referencing it. It had its name changed from Mitchell and the Machines to Connected.
What
very briefly?
Are you talking
Awful
about?
name. I'm serious. Like go on the IMDb page and scroll through the posters, and you'll see some of the art in there. Was because this would have been delayed through all COVID stuff. So there was a time where. Because this is Sony Pictures, and it wound up being sold to Netflix in the end. Yeah, and I think the Netflix higher-ups were like, that is an awful name. We're going back to Mitchell and the Machines.
That is a really
awful
name.
This one up. Connected is such a bad name.
It is kind of a long title. I don't know. I saw it as The Mitchells, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't think either are great titles, but Connected is much worse.
Mitchell versus the Machines embodies the tone of the film a lot more. Connected, I would expect... like some really sappy animated Oscar short winner, you know? That's what it sounds like, a Pixar like overly emotional, like manipulative tug at your heartstrings movie, whereas Mitchell versus the Machines kind of gets the point across where it's like, oh, this is a bit fun, you know? Like this is a kind of like a punk rock comic-y kind of thing, you know?
It's like Meet the Robinsons. Reminds me of that.
Yeah, what'd you think, Alex? Ralph didn't see it, but we're not going to spoil it, and it's not really possible to spoil it anyway, but we won't.
Yeah, so I think it's good for Sony Pictures when you're talking about Angry Birds, the Emoji Movie, Hotel Transylvania. I didn't really love it, to be honest. I thought it was okay. I thought it was solid. I liked that they were kind of carrying on this artistic style they established with Spider-Verse, which is obviously their best movie by a mile, and clearly was the success of that movie helped inspire something to do with this project because of this art style they've been going with. But that to me was probably the standout from the movie, because I mean, I found it to be fairly familiar, and there were things I weren't expecting to be put off by that were distracting me. There go things like the humor. It was so family friendly and family orientated, and I know that's the audience they were going for, but I was finding it very hard to get much out of the movie beyond kind of surface level kids family entertainment, because there is so much of the kind of lowbrow reference humor, internet humor. I guess it was called Connected because it not only is it the like family themes that are going on and connecting as a family, which is what the story's about, but it's also this mobile phone technophobia slant that's in the movie, and it's all very, very kind of obvious like storytelling. There isn't much hidden under the surface. It's all it's for children, so you wouldn't really expect much more. But I feel like the better kids movies that touch on similar themes, like Wall-E, Incredibles, very similar kind of things going on, but they're able to tell a much more unique, creative, visually distinct story too. I like the character designs for the most part, but again, it's all fairly simple and stuff I have seen a lot of times before. And yeah, I just wasn't expecting some of the level of the jokes in there. Some of them were quite groany for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of the jokes were really like, hey everyone, I just learned what a meme was today, and I would like to show you a meme. Right? Like that was a lot of the humor in it, and that's kind of annoying.
I was okay with it up until my breaking point, which was the, I guess, spoilers, Numa Numa song remix point. I was just like
that. Yeah, that was like reincorporated. That was like 3 times in the movie. That was supposed to be like their heartwarming connection to like, this song represents our family hanging out. You know.
Well, the problem I was having was the tone is so like silly, cartoonish, comedic. When it was trying to get serious, it wasn't landing for me.
Yeah,
because I just felt like there was no real weight to anything. So why should I really care about this instance? Whereas that's kind of the skill of some of the best, you know, kids entertainment, is that they're able to take the absurdity of like talking robots or bugs or just inanimate objects and make you empathize with them and connect with them. And it is a kind of a basic family, you know. I kind of like the conflict in the movie. It's okay. You're given the bare minimum for what you need to like the family for what they are, but yeah, I just didn't really connect beyond the look of it, to be honest.
Yeah, visual style was great, but really just kind of style over substance. I liked Spider-Verse more. I
love Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I know you love it a lot more, and I know most people love it a lot. But I don't know. I wonder if most people would feel that Mitchell's and versus the Machines is like... I wonder if most people would feel the same discrepancy as you do, because when I'm on Twitter, I see a lot of praise for this film. It seems to be like pretty unanimous. IMDb rating's pretty good, I think. Right. Let's see, what is that? Oh, 7.9. That's a pretty good rating. And Spider-Verse is what, like,
that is only a good rating.
Let's see,
It wasn't written by Lord and Miller though, and I think it shows.
It wasn't. Where are their names on it?
I think they produced it.
Oh, okay.
This was written by the Gravity Falls people, I think.
Oh.
Which I've never seen that show. I don't really know much about it.
Apparently it's good.
I've heard it's good, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a significant discrepancy, not huge. It's like 8.4 for Spider-Verse user rating, and then 7.9 for Mitchell's versus the Machines. So yeah, I guess it's about right for most people, but
yeah, but like when you contrast it to Spider-Verse directly, like Spider-Verse is so vibrant in the use of the animation format, the way it's able to kind of contrive the action and bring and really get creative with the presentation of it.
The visual style was better, the writing was better, it was more memorable.
Everything was better,
about most about Mitchell and versus the Machines, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's a good family movie, but that's kind of it for me. It's like just under the Simpsons movie sort of tier for me.
Oh wow. Yeah, it just the humor didn't connect with me. The humor took away from the serious moments. I don't know, just everything just felt like really predictable and bland and like subpar in terms of like what you could do. Like the visual style could be even stronger, like Spider-Verse is an example, obviously, but I mean, you don't have to, but the writing could be a lot stronger, that's for sure. Yeah, the humor was not for me at all. If you don't connect with the humor, then it's like, what are you doing? Because it's not like the story is unpredictable. It's like, you know exactly what's going to happen the entire movie. Like there's 0 surprises in the movie story-wise. So I just don't know what I was supposed to get out of it. Like it was watchable, but fuck it.
Yeah, there were a few lines that made me snort air out my nose that were okay.
Yeah.
Like when the dad said, like, this is just the disaster I've been waiting for, kind of playing into that weird dad obsession about, like, protecting everything. There is some cleverness in there, but then for every one of those, you get, like, one of those groan-worthy lines where the main character's like, yeah, play the montage music, go, and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it really pulls me out of the movie and feels unnecessary. And I know they're going for that main character that in the movie, the lead is kind of an aspiring film director, and that's her passion. And she clashes with her dad because he doesn't really get the art side of it, because he just wants to make cabins in the woods. So that's what they're clashing over. But
yeah.
And you kind of get the payoff in the credits where you see that it must have been based loosely off a true story with the main character. And I do like that side of it. It does make it connect a little bit more. But again, actually, one of the bigger problems I had was the length of it too. I was getting quite bored at points.
I guess
it was really dragging for me. Yeah, I feel like for that kind of silly cartoony tone, it just needed to be a tad shorter for me to kind of stay engaged, because I was falling off every now and again because the way it's paced.
If I were to like imagine the plot line, especially in terms of like location and like what wound up happening in the film, it's just like there wasn't really much that happened. I don't know how so little happened in a movie that's 2 hours long. You know?
Yeah, like she learns to change gear. That's like a moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that kind of level, you know. It's family friendly, kid silliness.
There were some good visuals at points. There was some good music at points.
Some nice composition.
But too many actively annoying parts. I found that a good amount of the humor was basically the same as like the phones are bad subreddit, where it's just like a bunch of boomer shit, where it's like,
yeah,
this generation,
the bad guy is literally a phone.
They're on their phones, and that's bad. I had newspaper, so that was better. That's like half of the humor in the movie is just like, hey guys, did you know that we live in a society and there's technology here? That's crazy.
It's like the Pink Floyd The Wall video from Nostalgia Critic.
Oh yeah, it's
the commentary on that.
Hashtag.
Yeah, the marching bands. Yeah, but Olivia Colman voices the villain phone, which is kind of a waste of casting, to be honest. I feel like it's just so obvious, you know, when you say the villain is a phone, and their conflicts are kind of like, I'm going to university, and you know. It's all just the same stuff you've seen before. You want to see something a bit more fresh, but I do guess contrasting it with the Angry Birds with your Hotel Transylvanias, I would prefer to see this kind of, at least it's an original story. They're doing something with this animation style that is not generic, like the Emoji Movie or Bottom of the Barrels, that kind of stuff. I do wish the script was better, but I'm glad families are enjoying it, and that's about all I can say about it, though. I will not be remembering this one.
It tries to stand out. I wish that it tried harder, or maybe just had better writing, better story, better humor behind it. You know, it's really just the core of the movie that just uninteresting to me. Eric Andre was in it. That was cool. There was a lot of Sony product placements. There was Sony headphones. There were Sony phones. There was Sony everything. Sony World.
Oh, they do that in all their films, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they love it. Because you could either spend money on a television ad, or you can get people to pay you money to watch an ad. You can make a movie, and people will pay you to see the ad. So, good business decisions on Sony's part. Love it. Everybody loves it. Yeah, insanely predictable movie that had some charm to it. It wasn't vomit. It was better than most animated movies.
Yeah.
5 out of 10 from me. Check it out.
Yeah, I would still recommend to check this out on Netflix, but don't go in expecting anything above just a solid family movie that's appropriate, and has okay writing here and there. Because I do want to praise the writing in some ways, because there are things I do enjoy about it. There is some cleverness in there, but I think that humor does really weigh it down for me. Will you be checking this one out, Ralph? How does it sound?
I'll check it out, because it's the Spider-Verse guys. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I just feel like there's something about setting your story largely to do with like phones and social media. That's tough to make that not really cheesy and lame.
I just thought of the Emoji Movie right away.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
and this
same
seems like
studio.
the anti-Emoji Movie, like get off your phone, but it doesn't make it any more like, okay, it doesn't matter. It's still got to make a good movie, right?
Yeah. They should have put this effort into the Emoji Movie. Because at least this is a movie, you know? Like, someone had an idea for this. Someone wrote this.
It's not called the Emoji Movie. Yeah, that's just dumb.
Yeah, they didn't come up with like the title first.
Like, that's the best.
And work backwards, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, the Mitchell versus the Machines. It's good family romp, but don't expect more than that. It's too long for my taste, and some of the writing does bother me with the comedic stuff. I don't know if having Numa and there were other ones in there. It was just a bit much for me. It felt kind of dated, and there's a whole kind of set piece towards the end, which is based around like an early 2000s children's toy, which I found weird to be referenced, because one of the characters says like, "What is that?" Like directly acknowledging that the demographic for the movie wouldn't even know what it is necessarily, because they're not even a trend anymore. Just little things like that were like strange to me, and it's not left much of an impression on me, but I can see why it has for some. Maybe if I had a family like in the movie, it would connect more. But right now, this is just a 3-star for me.
All right, awesome. Yeah, check it out if you want. Remember, we're a bunch of snobs. Everybody else seems to be enjoying it. So, all right,
it's on Netflix. Make your own mind it.
Yeah, we watched a masterpiece.
Yeah, now let's talk about like a real great movie.
Something fucking good.
Something that's like blew me away when I first saw it.
And you first saw it recently, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was worth seeing again. I think I raised my rating. It's called Face Off. Spoilers, right? We're gonna say spoilers.
Spoiler
for
discussion.
1997 film by John Woo, starring Nicolas Cage as Castor Troy, who's like a bad guy, and John Travolta, Sean Archer, who's a good guy. And
good names.
I guess they're like, it's like a cat and mouse kind of chase. He's a bad guy. John Travolta's a cop, so he's chasing him around the city or whatever. Then they swap faces, so we could like do some undercover thing. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. They just swap faces for some reason. And then from there, like Travolta, like, or is it Nicolas Cage as Travolta tries to like steal his wife and his job and everything. And I don't know. I don't know where to go from here, but the movie's pretty fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
It's very funny. The two leads are really hamming it up, but they're very funny. And John Woo is like I think we talked about Hong Kong cinema before, like that kind of directing style. It's very over the top. It's almost comedic. But I think it's more of a straightforward action movie, really. And it's really entertaining. I think we've all seen it before, right? So it definitely stands out. It's not just like a bland, like, it's not just a bad movie. It's exciting. The acting's really good, like in a I don't know, in a different way, because it's they're really hamming it up.
The scenery hardcore. So you keep one-upping each other. It's so funny to watch.
It's not bad in the traditional sense, where it's so bad that it's actually good. I thought Travolta, Nick Cage, they really played off each other well.
Yeah, I feel like John Woo makes this movie. Without him, you don't have this movie being as good as it is. Because apparently the script like existed and was floating around in the 90s. And it was originally supposed to be Schwarzenegger and Stallone in the lead.
Oh, no. That wouldn't work.
That would have been
so you
cool,
can imagine,
though.
Yeah, exactly. But when it finally
that.
wound up in John Woo's hands, he changed the two leads, and I feel like that change, alongside his direction and interpretation of the story, and like taking it as seriously as he does, it's just a fascinating action movie.
He takes it seriously, but it's very over the top.
Yeah, they never give you enough time to like break down and even really think about it, because like they just bring up the fact that this experimental face swapping technology is just, come on, you're just doing that now. That's what we're doing now, and then they just go into it and they never really address it and just move on. and you just kind of stay with it because it's just so ridiculous.
And Travolta and Nick Cage are basically playing themselves. Sean Archer's basically just, himself. There's nothing about them that I think is that different from like how they probably actually are. Nick Cage is hamming up that he's evil, but the over the top nature of him, I don't know. I just thought of Nick Cage the whole time.
Yeah, well, the humor for me comes from seeing John Travolta like doing his impression of Nicolas Cage, like crazy Nicolas Cage.
Seeing the both of them trying to do each other is really funny. Trying to play each other.
Put the first quote on the DVD. Seeing both of them try to do each other.
Try to do each other.
Really funny.
Well, the tagline is, in order to catch him, he must become him. And like the double meaning of the title,
you must go inside him,
and literally taking their faces off. It's just so silly. You have to cheer for it. It's just such a ridiculous.
But
premise.
if you're willing to buy into the concept of the movie, which is just that's the plot. Like if you can't buy that, then don't watch the movie. But if you're willing to accept it, then the movie's great.
I mean, it's fun even if you don't accept what's going on.
Well, if you can't accept what's going on, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you, because clearly it's trying to be fun. Like, it's just a funny fucking movie. There's nothing about it that takes itself seriously. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think the two leads are fucking awesome. I think people love Travolta. And I don't know. There's something about him in this movie.
Yeah.
I just find one of the things that I wouldn't have appreciated the first time I saw it, but do now, was the novelty of their interpretation of what this high-tech future spy stuff would look like. So all their computers with their
Is it the
silly...
future? Really?
It's either the future or some like alternate weird thing. Like there's a prison with magnet
like they're not even
right?
clear. They're just like there's this face smashing technology. We're just gonna bring you in this
like
fucking
secret
room.
technology, and there's like a secret prison no one knows about with the magnet boots.
Yeah. And
maybe
then the
in the
vocal
90s
cord
this was just
thing and the
plausible.
body, like swapping the body, and then within like 2 seconds, well, it's so hard to describe because Nicolas Cage becomes Travolta and like swap each other. But like once they become each other, he like goes to his prison cell like, yeah, I burned all the evidence that you ever were me, and I killed everyone who did the surgery so they can never do it back. And now I'm gonna go to your house and like fuck your wife. And he licks his face at like that moment when he's like, oh, you're so delicious. He like fucking like starts
just kissed
like,
his
kissing
own
him in the
face,
face. Yeah, it was fucking hysterical. Like, oh, I miss that face. That moment is fucking hysterical.
There's a lot of great
Nick Cage is in such agony. The way Nick Cage plays it is brilliant because like I can't even imagine the pain that man must be going through. Like he becomes him, takes his wife, and so like you see him in such like turmoil. Like he's like like so disturbed by it, and like I don't know, it's so over the top. It's so funny. If it was any other actor, it just wouldn't work. Like it's just it
has to be those two in the lead.
It's those two on the poster face off. That's the movie. It's perfect.
And it had to be made in 97 too. It had to be then and there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 97 movie.
And it's very 90s. It's very 90s. And it's the end of the 90s too. So it's the end of an era.
The end of optimism.
You don't really get action movies like this anymore. It's almost too goofy now. I guess you get like Rampage with Dwayne Johnson. Too much CGI. This is like more of a straightforward. Yeah.
So I was thinking for this film, because it's so fucking loaded, I think that a great way to have this discussion would be to go through scene by scene.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start at the beginning. And this would also help me recollect some things about the film, because my notes were limited. I'm trying not to use my wrists that much right now. So, opening scene. Yeah. We had a child death. Brave.
There you go.
Exactly.
They're
true. Not cowards.
That's true.
It happened. He didn't leave somewhere else and come back and he's dead. Yeah, it actually happened.
Nick Cage shoots his son. It's a very emotional moment.
Yeah.
It's like The Last of Us.
And unlike the film Gotti, where they just like forget about it, it's like brought up a lot. It's a huge part of his character.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I guess Nick Cage, when he becomes Travolta, he like comes to terms with it and his guilt. Like they actually go to his son's grave. I thought that was an emotional moment.
It's so weird.
It is weird.
Very weird.
But that's
really
what makes it work. It's very weird.
It makes him so evil.
Oh, yeah.
Makes him evil, but it makes him...
Yeah, something was happening before this moment. They have some sort of rivalry. A little tit for tat going on.
Yeah. Well, because of his son. Yeah.
What happened before that? He wanted to kill him. The son was collateral. Something happened even before that, clearly. Right?
Yeah, exactly. He was trying to kill Travolta, but he got the son because they were on like a merry-go-round or something.
Oh yeah,
it's like the most ridiculous thing. Like when you describe it, when you're thinking about it, like, oh yeah, they're on a merry-go-round.
They do the horse whinny sound effect with like blood on the merry-go-round horse's face, and it's like echoey
so
and slow-mo, and it's perfect.
You know, if it wasn't that, they would be like at the ice cream shop or I don't know, at the park. You know, it's just something stupid like that.
Merry-go-round makes sense. It's funny.
Yeah, you're right. And then it becomes about Travolta chasing after him. He's like at the police station. You see he's like very pissed off. And then it's pretty intense, like the beginning.
Yeah, really, right? It's a very strong opening.
It gets right into action.
Travolta
right? Like pretty
in the
early
helicopter.
Yeah, weighing
the
down
music.
the plane.
Dun, dun, dun. And what you're saying about like the ballsy deaths, like
good, right.
Like Nick Cage holds like a woman out the plane like as hostage. And then fucking like she shoots her and he like laughs about it. And that was kind of funny. His reaction shot was funny. But yeah, you're like, man, this guy's evil. Like this is a fucking bad guy.
Yeah.
And they
he
set
kills
it up
people
right
on
away.
screen.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much humor in this part. It's because like to me, I feel like the first half of this movie is super, super fucking strong, and my rating would be higher if the second half was exactly like the first half. You might disagree, that's fine. But for me, what really makes it is like the crazy Nick Cage is Nick Cage doing it, right? The rest of the movie, most of the movie, is John Travolta doing it, and he's just not as strong of an actor. He's a little bit weaker. He doesn't do the whole crazy nonsense as well. I love Nick Cage being crazy man, right? I wish the actors were swapped so that there was more of it almost.
I think Travolta was funny. The moments where he was yelling.
Yeah, Travolta was funny to me.
Travolta would like, that's what I mean about the yelling. He would just like have these little outbursts where he'd say one word really loud and it was fucking hysterical.
Yeah, I do appreciate that they like really front loaded with crazy Cage. They have him like dressing up as a priest and like sexually assaulting a choir member in the middle, like for some reason. Yeah. That was a quick scene. Just move along.
But the way it's played is the way it's played is really funny.
Oh,
like,
it's so
and
funny.
It's set up for a later scene when Travolta becomes Travolta and he like grabs one of the workers' asses in the police station.
Oh yeah, we need to know that
oh.
he's a pervert.
Yeah,
that he's a sexual abuser.
But he's just such a bad guy. He loves conquering other people.
He's like a cartoon villain in an adult film.
Yeah, exactly. He's literally taken over this man's job and his body, and now he's going to his office. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take a phone call with the president. And
what's the worst thing I could do to you right now? I'm going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, that's what I mean. He just gets off on all of that. That's the kind of villain he is. And I don't know. I think Nick Cage is perfect for that.
Yeah, and they don't shy away from it either. I remember the first time I saw it when he just straight up is just like fucking his wife. Just straight up.
Yeah.
Like, you're expecting like maybe later in the movie there'd be a line like, "No, we never actually did anything," but no, just
rape.
Just commit to it.
It was a rape.
Yeah, it's like the cobbler thing. Yeah, weird, but
yeah, he's evil.
Yeah, it makes him so hateable, so evil. So when you see his comeuppance, there is a thrill to it.
Yeah, it's crazy because this movie's so goofy, but it's also so fucking ballsy. This has like more actual weight and consequence than Mortal Kombat. By far.
The cat and mouse makes it very interesting. These men really hate each other, and you get why, and you want to see them like fight. That's the whole thing. They keep like Castor Troy locked up, who's actually Travolta. They keep him locked up for a while, and you see him like they fuck his wife. He takes his job, like everything from him. And it kind of makes you feel for him. You feel for him. You're like, yeah, I want to see him get his comeuppance, like you said.
I felt like he was going to fuck his daughter, but then he didn't.
Well, yeah. Oh, that was actually a funny
really
scene. Though. It's like, oh, the plot thickens. That's a funny line. There's so many great lines in the movie.
I thought there was going to be some incest. But I guess technically not. Just incest with your dad's face, and that's it. The rest is somebody else's body.
There is something deeply disturbing about the concepts of the movie, and that does help it. Because I remember when I first saw it when I was quite young,
at the end.
And there was something quite deeply disturbing about this movie, and especially the way they actually like achieve the face-off scene itself by never properly showing the the effects of the ripped off face, and it's all kind of obscured in the background. And when Nicolas Cage wakes up and he like convinces the scientist, forces the scientist to put his face on, Travolta's face, it's kind of creepy stuff. Mm-hmm. And they do just they just apply themselves to it and follow through on all the obvious story stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is just so silly, and like by the time like he's adopting Nicolas Cage's kid at the end, it's like so silly, but it's like that. Yeah, that makes sense for the story,
so
and
funny.
It's come full circle.
It's like a Tim and Eric.
That was powerful,
skit, but I was a whole
crying.
movie.
It's like a secret
so
son
funny.
you didn't know about that looked exactly like the other
You're
son.
my boy now.
But it's perfect payoff. That's what I mean. It's the story.
Yeah.
At least it's paid off. They did something with that character.
Exactly. Yeah, the payoff is there.
His mother, she dies thinking that Sean Archer was a good guy. And then she dies. She doesn't know anything about, Travolta's actually inside his body or anything, or has his face. Like, she doesn't know anything about that. She dies thinking Castor Troy is a good guy. She doesn't even know it's, Travolta became him. So she dies thinking it's a good person. I thought that was a good way to end her character. That was great.
Yeah.
Everything at least is paid off. And even that scene with the daughter, later she has to pick between shooting her dad or Nicolas Cage, and she shoots Nicolas Cage, but really that's her dad. Like, it was paid off perfectly.
She reminded me of Lisa from The Room. The blonde hair and brown eyebrows, and like their face is like
Kinda
identical.
Oh yeah.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
Very.
Did you like the scene?
Silly.
There's a lot of like sexual assault in this movie, but
there's
a scene where she's like she's sexually assaulted by her boyfriend in the car, and John Travolta just fucking kicks the window in and beats the shit out of the guy. That was a great scene, really funny.
Yeah, I love that Castor Troy gives her the knife that she uses on him later. That's nice.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
make sure you
that
twist the
incorporation.
knife so the wound doesn't close, and then she does that too. That's a good payoff.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Castor
that was a
Troy's
good
the bad guy. Even I confuse myself with it.
Oh, it's so
and I love
confusing.
the movie. I think it's really funny. It is confusing.
Yeah. It's easier to say the characters' names than it is to say the actors' names, because then sometimes you want to say like John Travolta in Nick Cage's body, but then that gets like really confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So back to the surgery. Couple things I want to mention about that. I love that they're giving them haircuts while the surgery is taking place. Not like, I don't know, before or after.
Yeah, and the software was like updating as they were cutting the hair.
Oh yeah,
which is really funny.
Because you need the visual on the screen, the computer image of the haircut. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what the hair length is.
The sci-fi haircut.
You can't see it in real life. And then like I love it. It's what's funny is like there are some movies that would just, how Looper has that "don't think about it" line. It's kind of funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even a film like Crank probably wouldn't explain anything about it if they had this sort of thing in it, But this film actually does go some lengths to explain what's happening. And so they say things like, oh yeah, the fucking scar tissue will close up and you won't even see it, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the things that I feel like kind of works against itself, but is kind of funny, is they show this visual of like, we're trimming down your body fat. We're like doing laser surgery on your belly so you can fit the form of Castor Troy.
Yeah, exactly.
But then,
so you look like the actor.
Then if Castor Troy is in Sean Archer's body, then did he gain weight really quickly? How did he get fatter then? Because you've written that, and now we have to think about it. And so it doesn't harm the movie because it's so silly.
I believe there's
anyway,
a line like, I don't know what I like more, your face or your body. So they make like a reference to the body, like that the body's different.
Yeah, it's weird because they gave Sean Archer surgery to make his body more like Castor Troy, but Castor Troy, I don't know what he did. He just ate a bunch of donuts really fast.
That's one of the most implausible parts of the film, but you gotta buy
the whole
also
plot?
one of the things that makes it the best.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the title, right? Face off. You need to have the face coming off for that, and to have the great scene where he goes face off. I'm gonna take his face off.
Because it's the body swap premise, but instead of it being like magic or them just waking up in another
Freaky
body,
Friday.
they're committed to. Yeah, let's explain this. Like, there's a new technology. They got the anti-inflammatory drugs, so you can just cut people's faces off and put them on other faces in this universe. It's fine.
Yeah,
and then they just kill all the scientists and burn the
plop.
facility down anyway.
Oh yeah,
I love how quickly it all goes wrong.
And it's so ridiculous. They kind of have to go, like, with that plot, you have to go the science fiction route with it, unless you go the fantasy route. That's why I liked. It's like they built up from that title in a way that worked. Like Face Off. Okay, so we have two guys. They have to have their faces coming off. How do they do that? Science fiction. It reminds me of like Tenet almost, because Tenet that's like a real thing. It's like a stone in like the middle of some fucking I don't know where. And you know they were trying to make a movie about Tenet. So like, how do we do time, something like that, like inversion, whatever. I don't know. Science fiction. The CIA can find something. Like I like that stories are built off on that. It felt very like I don't know. This movie's just perfect to me. It's that title and Travolta and Nick Cage on the cover, just like that.
So Castor Troy, with his face off, wakes up rather abruptly in an unsecured, unguarded room, and then tells his peeps he wants the other face, and then they fuck everything up.
Yeah,
and then Castor Troy. It's very difficult.
I'm glad you wrote this down because I was just watching it. I was just taking it all in. I recommended it. I should have been writing notes, but I'm like, I'm just gonna take this all. in.
This is from memory. I've seen it a few times.
Awesome.
My notes were very limited because of my wrists. Castor Troy is in the prison that has magnet boots and they can selectively magnetize each prisoner to the floor, which I kind of like as a concept, even though it's very silly and very stupid.
Yeah, super dumb, but fun.
And he goes in there so he can get information from Castor Troy's brother about where the bomb is planted. And then they have the scene where he's like, oh, well, I guess blowing up this place will be cool. And he's like, haha, you're stupid. I got you. And totally blows his cover well before he's actually out of the situation, which is weird, but he could have just kept playing along, but whatever. And then, somehow the whole plan that Sean Archer made, they needed to, like, it was a super secret plan, and he allowed for such oversight where Castor Troy was able to steal his body and pretend like the whole swap never happened. And is like, you're just going to rot in prison now. And which is, I mean, terrifying to think about in like kind of like a existential dread sort of
Sure
way. Yeah, I get that hard from that last scene where he's cutting his face. So he's watching his face get cut by someone else.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, it's almost like being John Malkovich, like kind of horror concepts, you know? Like, taking it out of reality and bringing in concepts that don't exist, but like would just be really fucked up if they did.
The shot with the mirror where there's they're shooting at each other through a mirror, but it's very obviously they're shooting themselves, so they're shooting at the villain. But that's a great shot. Like it's
funny that they
I think
threw
it's
that
perfect.
in there.
The music in this film, fucking badass.
John Powell,
incredible, epic.
John Powell, big fan.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
like fucking incredible. Really epic, perfect. It fits the tone of the movie perfectly.
For sure.
Yeah. It was good.
Panda.
Happy Feet.
Yeah. Not saying it's like Lawrence of Arabia type level of music, but I think it fits the movie really perfectly. It's exciting. It's good. I think.
No, it's very appropriate.
And they have these like random character actors in these kind of really small roles, like CCH Pounder or that guy from The Wire, Robert Wisdom. He's like one of my favorite characters in that. They're just tiny roles at the beginning that just get obliterated, which is fun in and of itself because you just don't expect the story to go as wrong as it does as quickly as it does. And each section could be its own movie expanded, really. Like this whole prison thing, it's such a wacky idea. That could be a movie. But there's just like a prison escape section, then you're on to the next bit. The pacing is so quick, it makes it so much fun.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens in this movie. What's the runtime of this? It's like 2.5 hours or something? Let's see.
2 hours 20 about?
2 hours 20.
Wow, that's...
Yeah,
okay.
And it's very fast-paced for what it is.
It's very entertaining. Of course,
yeah.
The action's solid. Yeah, it's very funny.
So, Castor Troy decides he will terrorize his family, and he disarms the bomb too, which is really funny. He's like, "Yeah, I'll just walk in here
get the credit,
do the code," which is very nice. Yeah, and then Sean Archer manages to escape from the prison from some weird, like, electroshock torture therapy, whatever you want to call it.
That's the only way they can take off the boots, is if they execute you, basically.
It implies that they don't bathe, which is kind of funny. Like I don't know. You can't take. I don't know.
But I don't think the prison's like, they're literally just like taking him to the electric chair. Like they show another guy getting electrocuted right before him.
I don't remember if that was like for.
It's so over the top
for like an execution or what that was about. Like, did he have a trial?
I don't know.
It seemed like a punishment to me.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because the other guy survived.
Kind of like a lobotomy type thing, maybe. I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, then he fell off the whatever staircase and died later, a bit later. There's a lot of death in this movie, but yeah, that guy dies. The metal boots, that was ridiculous. I mean, it's supposed to be like a maximum security prison, I guess.
It's funny. What it does is it allows the two characters to be alone, and it allows Castor Troy to get in really close without any guard supervision.
Yeah,
and have that's
the thing. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, they're separate for a lot of the movie, and it's always interesting. The characters are always good, and the cat and mouse angle again. Like once Sean Archer finds out he escapes, then he's the one who's like panicked, even though he has everything. He's like fucking freaking out, and that was like an interesting. The character has everything, but he's fucking nervous because Sean Archer's out there. He's gonna get him. And that's another one of Travolta's great scenes where he fucking just yells for no reason. Like, he yells one word out. I forgot the line exactly, but it's fucking hysterical. A lot of high-pitched yelling from Travolta.
Uh-huh.
You guys have some thoughts? When he's like, ah! Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell if I'm laughing with or at him at times in the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like I'm always with Nick Cage. I feel
like...
Just now with with Gotti and everything, and just what he's like now. It's just there's something extra funny about Travolta in the movie.
Well, there's just rumors about Travolta being a bit like a gay or little in Hollywood, and I think that's fine. But it just comes. He always tries to hide it, or because he's Scientology or whatever, they try to hide it. It comes out a little bit when he's yelling. I'm like, that's great.
Oh, it's a gay
those
person
are my favorite,
yell.
Those
is what you're saying.
Basically, but those are my favorite parts of the movie. It's a little bit of a effeminate yell that I love.
Okay.
Yes, it's my favorite part of his character and his acting.
He is funny,
and I'm proud to say that because I'm a huge Travolta fan.
Okay.
I do. To say that about Travolta because I love Travolta.
Okay. Got him.
You don't think Scientology tries to hide it a little bit?
I think that the type of person that would be really invested in Scientology might also be a type of person that lies to themselves on a daily basis about their own inner workings of their mind.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that Scientology is the only religion that applies to, but
Of course, he's marketable too, Travolta. I think he's a huge movie star, almost on the level of Tom Cruise. That's why he's on Scientology.
Well, yeah, this was just after Pulp
This is a
Fiction.
worldwide film directed by a huge director. And
John
then Travolta goes like, and I'm like, that's great. Everyone's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, like depending on the context, like for funny that can be, for humor that can really work. Like Will Ferrell does it all the time. Ryan Gosling did it in The Nice Guys. Was that the movie? What was it called? Or The Nice Guys?
Yeah,
The Nice Guys.
Yeah,
The Nice Guys, right?
Ryan Gosling did that a few times. It was funny then.
Right. I love The Nice Guys too, but this is a very masculine. Guys love this movie. It's one of the best action movies.
Oh, this is a real bro film.
It is a bro film.
Yeah.
It's almost like Top Gun, like that.
Yeah, I give my bros bro jobs while I watch this film.
Just watch the film again and pay attention to Travolta's acting.
Oh, I will.
I think that makes it. I think that makes it extra beautiful.
You can't not. You can't ignore it.
It's one of his finest performances.
I don't know. I think the context meant because, I don't know if he's acting that much different in this than in what was that really shitty horror movie that came out, The Fanatic. His acting caliber is about the same, but it's just like a better film.
The Fanatic is playing a very weird character. That's definitely not him. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to do with that. I think he was trying to play like someone on the spectrum or something, but it's really disgusting. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. It's like he was trying to be funny.
The quality of acting is about the same. I don't think he's like a better actor in Face Off than he is in The Fanatic. I just think it works better because of the context of what's happening in the film and the characters.
Yeah, sure. The tone of it.
I'm not saying it's the exact same performance.
Yeah, like in this movie, he's just playing himself. Like, I just see Travolta, I just see Nick Cage, and that's why I find it funny.
Oh, exactly.
And it's this huge movie.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Nick Cage really hamming it up. I liked how he played Travolta. I'll give you. I think Nick Cage was better. I think he was a lot better than. Like, he's just a better actor than Travolta.
A million times better.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But I love both of them. I think both of them brought something to it. Like, I couldn't picture this movie without either of them.
At this point in time, pretty much everybody recognizes the crazy, freak-out, lovable nature of Nicolas Cage. And now at this point, people intentionally put him in those kinds of roles. He's in a lot of like B-horror movies and stuff. But I'm wondering at what point in time that started becoming apparent. Like, there was like a video that got released like 10 years ago, maybe more, being like Nicolas Cage freak out moments or whatever. And it was just this compilation, and it was put to the tune of, what was the song? It was like the Requiem for a Dream song, right? And it was a really funny video, and that compiled all of them. So that whoever made that video clearly had some awareness of like how often he's put in roles where he's freaking out and how great he is at doing that. I wonder the timeline of like when exactly filmmakers were aware of that and would cast him in his film for that, or if they were aware when they did that, or if it just happened, serendipitously or just by coincidence. Because this film, 97, there's a lot of great Nicolas Cage freak out, and it really, really helps the film. Like, this is like one of the best shining examples of like why he's so great at that, and he's perfect for the character because he's playing an absolute psychopath too, right? Nobody else can do it. Like John Travolta can't do it. I'm sorry.
He's evil.
Right? Like he does his best. There's some merit in what he's doing. It's kind of funny too in a cringe way. But Nick Cage,
I think Travolta's just a nice guy,
sells
though.
It.
Yeah. I think Travolta's just he's got that look of just a nice guy, good guy, and he works as that character.
I feel like John Travolta holds back more than Nick Cage does. Nick Cage has no fear in his performance. John Travolta has like layers of ego that he can't quite get past, where Nick Cage is just like giving it his all.
Yeah, apparently he was a bit concerned about that line about his chin.
What?
Remember that?
Really? I thought he made that up. I thought that was great.
Clarification on the butt chin line to make sure it wasn't making fun of him.
Oh, fuck off. See, exactly. Yeah. Like, if you're going to be a great actor, you need to let go your fucking ego. You need to be comfortable making fun of yourself. You got to not give a shit what other people think of you. Because, like, if you're thinking about that sort of thing while you're performing, it's going to show, you know?
Yeah, he was, like, making fun.
It's a really good line.
He was making fun of his body and his face, like, with his brother, and I thought those were awesome moments. Yeah, like, you don't have the looks anymore. It's like, you got me there, touche. That's fucking great.
Nicolas Cage is unironically, genuinely a fearless actor, and I think he's really great. Yeah. Even though he's in a lot of bad movies, and even though a lot of films that he's in, there's an entertainment element of just, like, laughing because it's so ridiculous and because he's doing, like, weird things. In the right role, he's still pretty great. There's great movies that he's been in. But yeah, like, I'm never like disappointed by Nicolas Cage's performance in a movie. You know?
Yeah.
I think it really depends on the director and the movie and a lot of things. We saw a Lynch movie with him, David Lynch, Wild at Heart.
Yeah, he was in Spider-Verse.
I still need to see Leaving Las Vegas.
He's very good. He's actually very good.
He got an Oscar for that.
Adaptation. Adaptation. He's actually good. But here, I think he's great. But very in a comical, more in a comedy kind of sense, where he's more playing himself. But it's funny. He works. He works really well.
There's a Face-Off sequel in the works from everyone's favorite director, Dumb Wingard. And what my question is to both of you is, who the fuck are they gonna cast in this? Like, what would your dream pick be for like another Face-Off?
They
like,
need to get Travolta
actors?
and Nick Cage. Why can't they? I mean, Travolta and Nick Cage are doing fucking dumpster fire movies, like, straight to Amazon Prime. Do you think they're going to, though?
Do you think that these things get greenlit like that? I don't know.
That's the only way it could be good.
Yeah, I think they should totally do that. And as far as Adam Wingard, I don't know. I think he kind of sucks. I think you outed him as a hack. I think you're right.
I think John Travolta is so unsellable at this point that they won't be able to get it greenlit. I think they could pitch that idea to studios or producers, and they'll say no, not with John Travolta.
I love those movies.
All of his movies have been bombs for the past fucking 20 years. Like,
because he picks a bunch of shit. He's like an old dog. He's fucking garbage. And Adam Wingard, I don't know. Yeah, he kind of sucks too.
Doesn't he?
But if they get the two of them, and it's just really violent, and it hammers in on the ballsy action.
Well, it's gonna suck.
I think it could be fine. Well, just put it on like Amazon Prime, kind of like a VOD movie.
Oh yeah,
just do that. Doesn't like Mel Gibson does that now? Like I see Mel Gibson, Frank Grillo in movies that go straight to VOD. They're doing fine. Just do that. I think it would be fine.
I don't know.
Or just don't do it. That's the ideal. Is to just
no, they got to make their money. It's gonna happen.
Get John Woo.
An 80s property.
And honestly, I would watch it. I'm not
John
even.
Woo.
Who am I fucking kidding? I would watch it. I would watch 5 of these sequels if they made them.
I will feel obligated to watch it, but we'll see.
Especially if they use that music.
Who would be the
again.
2 actors though for a 2021 version?
Okay, if they got rid of them.
If you couldn't get Cage and Travolta
this is a
back.
great question that I need to know the answer to.
Tom Holland.
I'm thinking of all the current movie stuff.
Tom Holland? Ew, no.
The problem with The Rock is he's such a big presence. You'd need someone equivalent in size for the whole face-off body swap thing to even make sense.
Jared Leto and because there's a bit of that like cringe. Jared Leto could be like the John Travolta equivalent, right? Where he's doing some cringe stuff.
Really, I quite want to see him as the villain.
Well, either way, it doesn't really matter because they play both in the movie.
Yeah, true.
And then we could get like, I don't know, Joaquin Phoenix. Both two Jokers here.
Terry Crews. That's my first official answer.
Oh yeah, let's get a black guy and a white guy, and then when they swap their faces, it'll look really weird.
Or we could do like Dwayne Johnson, Terry Crews. You know what? I like that. 2 fucking giant men.
Let's get drastically different skin tones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the face-off technology's improved.
I just want like giant.
Oh my
ripped
god! Can we do
people.
like gender swap too? Can we do like Daniel Kaluuya
we'll do, like,
and
the
like Zoe
Ghostbusters.
Deschanel face off?
Okay,
that's my dream.
I was
pick.
thinking 2 women. We get like not Gina Carano. We can't do her anymore after her tweets. Who's one that's like that? Like a muscular, like I don't know, MMA artist
like
who
UFC
became like
champ. The one from Fast and Furious 7.
Isn't that Gina Carano?
No, I'm sure it's not.
Another one.
She's in one of them, I swear to God.
I don't even know how to search for it. Hang on.
I think Joaquin would do a great job with whatever he does. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, but he's like a real actor.
Nicolas Cage is a real actor, Ralph.
No, he isn't. He's been in good stuff, but he's mostly
an Oscar winner,
like
isn't
this.
he?
I would not want to see Daniel Day-Lewis or someone like that in a movie like this. Joaquin is actually like a real actor who I like.
I think Joaquin would work better than Daniel Day-Lewis.
This is more of a guilty pleasure.
I mean, I'm sure he would do a great job no matter what, but like, I don't know if I would be dying to see Daniel Day-Lewis in that kind of thing. Joaquin, I could see, because Joaquin's also a little bit fucking crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
it would just be against type for him, because Phoenix, yeah, he's definitely crazy.
He's a bit of a nut.
Phoenix, it would be against type, because he's usually in like really good, or he plays like dramatic, dark characters. Usually, it's not like
he played a jokester.
He's not goofy. Yeah, that's true. He played the Joker, which is that's like a dark. I'd say that's like a drama.
I mean, but he still like did a pretty crazy role. I don't know.
But Nick Cage is all over the place. Nick Cage does dramas like that. He does Oscar films, but he also does really goofy shit. And he's always done goofy shit. Wild at Heart, stuff like that. It's more with his like brand. I almost wish more like actors of that caliber would do goofy stuff like this, because I don't think it makes them. I don't see less of them because they do like a fucking stupid movie where I just see them as themselves and they just, I don't know, shoot it like they were like on a boat, like in a cool boat chase, doing something dumb like that. I think it's fun.
And honestly, if I were to think ideal director for a Face-Off remake or sequel, fucking James Wan, bringing him back.
Yeah.
That would be an ideal director for this project. That would actually be fucking perfect.
Justin Lin.
Yeah.
Like someone like that, yeah.
Then you could have like Tom Hardy and that guy from Prometheus that looks like Tom Hardy.
You even see shades of that in their movies, like James Wan, Justin Lin. It's not as over the top, obviously. Like, but there's they're still just fun, campy movies more so. Like Fast and Furious 6, Fast and Furious 7.
I've got a great combo that would be really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Leto and Jesse Eisenberg. It would be terrible, but it would be really funny. Right?
That's for like
Those
the
two?
fourth sequel when they like really run out of ideas.
Ooh,
Oh my god, that would be so good. All right, should we get back to the movie, or do you have any more?
No, I like these like mashups.
Sure. All right, let's think of more.
Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg.
That could work.
Yeah. I feel like Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson is what they would go with, because that's proven. I would like to see the originals back. I know they're old,
The comedy
but I mean, who
version,
cares?
yeah.
That should be their last movie.
The Face Off remake.
Get Face Off 2 starring Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Space Off.
Space Off.
God damn it. Fuck. Oh, this is a sad world we live in where we're getting Face Off remakes.
Apparently, it's a sequel.
People love the Versus movies. That's why Godzilla and King Kong was a
Dingle.
huge hit. Dingle and King Kong. That's what we call it.
Wait, so how is it going to be a sequel then? Are they going to build it up to be like a universe where they've got the Face Off technology? We've already got that in Mission Impossible. They already do
They're
that.
going to do it again because it worked out so well the first time.
Yeah, I have no idea. We're just going to have to see what happens.
It'll be like Madagascar sequels. They'll go to Africa or something. They go to take a trip to Europe in the third one.
I mean, they could set it in space and have a real Space Off.
Yeah. I feel like that's the only thing this movie's missing. Them going to space.
Yeah.
Well, that prison scene might as well be in space.
It could have been a space
it makes
prison.
me think of like
Yeah.
Mass Effect with the like space station prison thing.
Mm-hmm. You're
It's
right.
so sci-fi.
It's like really over the top, that prison scene. With the metal boots. Yeah.
And the guy playing Nick Cage's brother, he's hamming it up almost as much
Yeah.
as the leads.
Yeah.
He's really funny, I thought.
Uh-huh. I thought he was good. Yeah. There's so many memorable scenes, but we were like trying to stay on track. Like, what are we up to in the plot?
Where we kind of got with the plot was like him breaking out of the prison. Sean
Mhm.
Archer breaking out of the prison. And then Castor Troy decides to terrorize his family a little, manipulate, disable the bomb. And then Sean Archer decides that he needs to, like, I guess, go to Castor Troy's friends and fam jams because everybody will think he's Castor Troy. And then he meets a little baby boy and he has
it's
this
his
weird
son.
scene.
It's 5 years old.
The secret
Yeah,
son.
the son's 5 years old. I think he looks a bit older though. He looked like at least like 9. I don't know. 10.
He hugs this child and starts
It's weird.
saying the other name of the other Sean?
Yeah.
Jason? I don't remember what
Michael?
it was.
I think it was
And he does that face
You're
thing
thinking of
with his
Heavy Rain.
hand.
I know.
Jason!
Yeah.
No, I think it's Michael, right? Am I
Oh,
wrong?
Michael. Yeah, it was probably Michael.
He's like, Michael! Yeah, and he has like, that's what I mean, the
Michael.
turmoil Nicolas Cage plays with this character. He's a very sensitive guy. I like that. Like, he loves his,
And the other
he
one
loves
was
his
just like
family, loves
watching
his
him.
son.
She's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing?
And she's like
Michael's just
freaking out, like,
oh,
what?
this is weird.
You're scaring him!
Great scene.
Is that who's that actor who plays like the woman, the
Gina
mother
Carano.
of that child? Gina Carano. I thought, is that Gina? No, that's not Gina
it's
Carano.
Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon.
Gershon?
Yeah.
Gershon.
Yeah, it's two Ginas. Yeah, I thought she was really good though. Like, I liked her in the
Oh,
movie.
she was in Showgirls.
Yeah, she wasn't sure.
That's
Yeah,
what she is in.
yeah, but I thought she was good at
She's
this.
in
like,
the new
she's really over the
Borderlands
top.
movie.
Yeah,
Cool.
she's in like, I think she's a good
Okay.
actor. She's been in like Killer Joe. I thought she was good in that.
Yeah.
Like Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, but this is like a
Hmm.
fucking stupid character. And then like the whole scene where there's a shootout and he
mirrors
takes his
this
son.
time.
But no, like first the FBI like find out that he's there because Travolta calls the police on him.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a huge shootout, but his son is there, the 5-year-old kid, and he's like holding on to him. And he puts headphones on his like,
Oh,
ears,
yeah,
like
that was funny.
so he doesn't hear the gunshots. I'm like, yeah,
That's
the gunshots
right,
are so
yeah.
fucking loud. There's no way that would work. The kid's
just
got fake
protecting
tears in
his
his eyes.
hearing.
Yeah, and Nick Cage is carrying around this like it looks like a mannequin, but it's supposed to be his son. And it's like there's a bunch of bullet holes going around. I'm like, yeah, no fucking way. A kid would be like screaming. He'd probably pass out. Might get hurt. Like,
He's
I don't know.
He's a little
that whole
slow.
scene is so over the top. Yeah, but in any other movie, I might have been distracted by that fact, but in this I wasn't, because it's so over the top. The whole tone of the movie, it's very consistent. I think what you said about Mortal Kombat, Adam, is that the tone is very inconsistent, but this is very, it's always goofy. You're never taking it too seriously, although you're driven by that cat and mouse kind of chase.
I would say it's much more consistent than Mortal Kombat. I wouldn't say it's completely. I in the second half of the movie, the lowest part of the movie for me is like pre-climax, where it seems to take itself a bit too seriously, where they're like, there's going to be a big battle and the stakes are high, and do you know how high the stakes are? This means everything, and we're gonna have both characters have to plan, because the other one he might be thinking of things too, so I have to think harder. And it's just the tone of what's happening and the music and how long it takes also. That would be the lowest point of the movie for me. Takes itself a little too seriously there, but still much better than Mortal Kombat. I agree. So they shoot each other, and then
then they fight each other.
And then they run away.
He goes to see his wife at some point to try and convince her.
Oh yeah,
what does he do? He does that a couple times, doesn't it?
First, Sean Archer shoots one of the police officers in the face. Oh wait, no, Castor Troy. Castor Troy shoots the officer in the face because the officer was like, "What? It was just Castor Troy's thing."
It was just Castor Troy's brother, but that's actually Castor Troy, in his body. Yeah, I thought that was a really funny part too.
Yeah.
I really like that moment. It's like a little yell.
Oh yeah, there was a Howie scream in this movie.
Oh really? Where? I didn't notice.
Destroy my throat trying to do that one.
Yeah, but that was pretty good.
Howie scream, classic.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and then so Sean Archer in Castor Troy's body tries to convince his wife, his real wife, that he's him, Sean Archer. It's so difficult.
It takes a lot of convincing.
He does the weird fucking hand touching, face touching.
Yeah, he does that multiple times.
Yeah, that's one of the main pieces of evidence. Because you're like, how is she convinced by this? Well, first of all, they have their little thing where
it's like a handshake, but it's hand to face.
Hand on their face like this. I guess that ties in the whole.
Yeah, right after eating some like really spicy chili wings, just like, ow, my eyes.
That is not a way human beings like embrace each other, like fucking putting their hand on their face like that.
It's so funny, and it happens so many times in the movie because it's like it needs to hammer it in just so it can be like, oh, it's a thing that he does, so that's she recognizes it, but it's such a weird thing to do. It's so.
Then there's also
it's a weird thing to do.
Yeah. And he does it to his son, to or his daughter. I think he does it to it's so weird.
Stop touching my face.
There's some
Dad.
other evidence too. Like they have different blood types. Like Castor Troy's a different blood type.
Fingerprints? I don't know.
Fingerprints.
A bunch of ways. Penis.
Yeah, and then, Travolta was just acting weird. And then once it was pointed out to him, the penis, right. You think he would notice a different penis.
Just pull down your pants. Everyone's got it.
If one of them wasn't circumcised or something, then that would be it.
I mean, hopefully his own wife would know what his penis looks like. Even if they were both circumcised, hopefully she would recognize the penis.
A deleted scene where he has to get a circumcision.
He goes in.
to match Travolta.
Do you not? It's me! Pulls down pants. Really is you. I mean, that would be probably the best way to do it in that situation. But anyway, hopefully she would recognize.
Like the premise.
And she, I guess, after the face touch, she realizes that it's him, and she's like, well, this is implausible, but I'll go with it. And then they have, I guess they just go into that really long pre-climax sequence that I don't like, where it takes itself a little too seriously. A lot of preparing for battle, calm before the storm thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to a church, and Castor Troy talks about how religious and the setting is, and does this weird T-pose Christ imitation, and that loud cut to Christ in case you didn't get it. It was really funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very silly. And then there's a bunch of doves because John Woo loves doves.
Yeah,
there's doves. Wasn't too much, but toward the end, there was a few doves in the church. That was a good shootout.
Oh, it was.
I just want to mention
wacky fight scene.
Travolta's wife in the movie, Joan Allen, that actor. She's really good in the movie.
Yeah,
she plays it like very seriously. Like when she's actually like when her daughter's like held at gunpoint, she's like very terrified. I think that added a lot to the actual tension of the movie.
That character
that's why
didn't
I took
need to be
it
goofy
seriously.
at all.
No, right.
Yeah.
That's why it worked. It worked really well. I felt like bad for her. Yeah, like her reactions were very genuine. Yeah, not as goofy as Nick Cage.
Why were they all at the church again? I'm trying to remember that part because like the daughter's there but doesn't. She didn't get the memo, and that creates a whole conflict, right? Because the daughter doesn't understand anything that's going on, but she's in the fight scene.
Travolta kidnapped the wife and said the daughter's on the way. So I guess he sent his men to kidnap both of them and sent them to the church. Yeah. Oh. And there was like a big, it was like a big,
that's right.
What's it called when everyone's pointing their guns at each other?
A Mexican standoff.
Oh, like a Mexican standoff.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know if it's technically a Mexican standoff, but it's certainly a standoff.
It's definitely a standoff.
Which is funny because at the beginning of the movie, it kind of started with that, where they both had the one bullet in the chamber, but actually Castor Troy didn't, and he thought he did.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. A little reincorporation.
This is the best movie ever made.
Yeah. And the daughter didn't get the memo, so that creates a new conflict, and she gets pushed down the stairs by one of them. I think by Sean Archer.
Nick Cage.
Oh, yeah.
Who is really Travolta.
Yeah. Sean Archer pushes his daughter down the stairs for her own good. It hurts him more than it hurts her.
But then after, he's like, wait, honey, wait. I'm trying to tell you that it's really me in someone else's face.
Oh, yeah. The classic, no, shoot him moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Every body swap movie has to have it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or clones or twins. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And stabs him in the leg. Sean Archer's daughter stabs Castor Troy in the leg. Good reincorporation with the fucking what is it called? Butterfly knife.
Assault scene. Yeah, the assault scene. Travolta gives her a knife, like to defend yourself. Like she's sticking in his thigh and twist it.
Yeah,
and then that's what she does to him.
Perfect.
Very perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, he does not bleed out, but
he's
wounded
because they're invincible. They have force fields around them.
Runs away on a boat.
Yeah, I just want to mention that they're invincible. Like no matter what they do to each other, they can't die. Like even in that mirror scene, they're shooting at each other with bullets. You'd think one of them would hit each other, but they don't.
Yeah,
just I've never seen two men fire so many like bullets at each other and none of them hit. For like most of the movie. You think one of them would.
They're still working out the anesthetics out of their system from the surgery. I don't know. They're a little woozy.
A little off with their aim side effects.
And so then they're on a boat. Which one's on a boat? I don't remember. Someone's on a boat. And I think Sean Archer's on a helicopter. I don't remember. There's a boat and they drive somewhere.
Yeah, a helicopter is involved, and there is a boat chase.
Yeah. And the most memorable part of that chase for me is them flying in slow motion, and they magically transform into two other people we've never seen before. Very obvious stunt doubles, and it's really funny with completely different hair.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there's that whole fight on the boat where one of them starts like skiing on the water with the bare feet.
Oh yeah, it's so silly. Very silly.
That's very funny. All practical.
Some good stunts, I guess. When he drives to the boat and there's like a giant explosion. You see the stunt double.
Oh, so many big explosions. Yeah.
Over the top, yeah. And that music again. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, and then there's another standoff, I guess, and Castor Troy in Sean Archer's face starts just cutting his own face, but it's not his own, it's Sean Archer's face, but it's on his body.
Yeah.
And
his face off.
Saying, I want you to have to look at my face in the mirror every day you wait. Like, just more psychopathic, just completely, like, what's the worst thing I can do? It's like, this doesn't even benefit me. I just want to know that you're suffering forever. Like, I don't even care if I die. Like, holy shit. Great villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he shoots him with a harpoon. He
Oh
goes,
yeah,
die!
yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Good ending.
It's,
Really
it's
satisfying.
incredible. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I guess
impaled,
that's it. Like, I thought, where does the movie need to go
Oh,
from
and then
there?
he adopts the other boy.
He adopts the other boy.
Yeah,
That was
and
a
touches his
great, like,
face a little.
emotional
That's the
beat.
cherry on top.
And
That
it
made
looks
me
like there's a
cry.
fucking
And then the movie
forest
literally
fire
ends
outside.
right there. A great fucking, like, the movie ends right there, right after the kid walks through the door.
Yeah, the story's
They adopt
wrapped
him.
up.
It's perfect.
It's clean, it's tidy.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, he's got a new boy.
Right on an emotional
Yeah, he replaced
high.
his son. He's got a new one. He's all right now.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect. He's alright. He replaced his son.
That's what happened.
Yeah, he just got a new
It's
one.
weird. But
Yeah. And his wife's just
It's
like,
funny.
yeah,
It was like
this is the
just the
correct
right
decision.
age. Yeah. That's perfect. And that's Face Off. Yeah. Fucking stupid as shit.
great movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
And
love it too.
I guess since we went through it chronologically, we've covered pretty much everything. We've been talking about this one for a while. Yeah, can't think of anything else to say about it other than just like, yeah, it's a super strong opening and first half. There's so many strong elements. Very goofy, very silly, very cheesy, very implausible.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that the moments near the end of the film didn't take themselves too seriously. It's such a weird mishmash where it's like you have to constantly wonder, like, how in on the joke is John Woo at any given scene, right? It's so difficult to interpret in that way.
It's part of the
because I
fun.
honestly have no idea at any
No,
moment.
I think John Woo's in on the joke. I think the way he directs this movie is pretty perfect. I think the only one who isn't in on the joke is Travolta.
But you also...
yeah.
I think he's the only one who thinks he's in a good movie.
in the context of like the 90s, like I would say like probably the majority of people that would have watched this movie and it was a success would have watched it unironically. Because like even though this is like there's a lot of stupid goofy nonsense going on, that was just a lot of 90s movies also. Like there is a lot of like
Exactly.
the 90s were filled with like over the top spectacle and crazy stupid ideas and just like bam, explosion, bing pow, fireworks, bullets, boat.
Yeah, Speed.
You know,
was
like
a big movie
all
that
this
time.
nonsense. Like it's possible that it can exist the same way unironically, right? Because of the time period and what audiences wanted out of the film.
Yeah, that part is fascinating.
Not to say that there weren't any moments in the film that you were supposed to laugh at something or find something comedic, but like just I guess the irony is what I'm trying to interpret or discern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, reading the reviews from when it came out are quite
Oh yeah,
interesting.
please do.
Because they're talking about this kind of thing where they're saying that it's got, like this one was from the New York Times. Before we go numb from such prefab excitement, here comes a mega movie that actually delivers what mega movies promise: strong characters, smart plotting, breathless action, and a gimmick that hasn't been seen before. And while I don't really think it has strong characters necessarily, but the plotting is pretty smart actually, and the action is breathless, and the gimmick is what holds it together. The hook is just so silly, and they just embrace it without flinching, and that does make it work. The fact that it actually comes together is quite something, and I do hand that to John Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the cast in this. I think they make it.
I love the cast, Stir Troy. And I'm giving this one a, I don't know, fucking, it's so difficult. Because, like,
Yeah.
so many times
it's a
I
tough
watched
one.
this, I felt like giving it a 5. But talking about it, like, I love it so much, I want to give it a 6. But it's like, but then how much of it is, like, how much of it is ironic? Like, so much of it's stupid. Fuck it. I'm giving it a 6. I like 6. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10.
I like the movie a lot. I think it's
crazy.
trying to be much more of a comedy.
I don't know.
And it's very over the top. The action's fun. The two leads are great. I think it's a little more self-aware than, I mean, who knows? But I think
There's
it's
a
definitely
director's
self-aware.
commentary on that Blu-ray. I'm going to have to listen to it, I guess.
We've talked about like
Yeah.
Hong Kong cinema before, and I tried to bring that up because that's over the top, and this is trying to go for that style too with John Woo. I think it is very intentional, and it's trying to go more for comedic tone. It's a very entertaining movie though, regardless of what it is. It's very unique. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 stars.
It's a classic.
Depends which
Yeah.
site you use. Yeah.
It's definitely a classic. I'm kind
It
of
is
with
classic.
Adam, where I'm find it a bit tough to figure out where the comedy line is and how much of it is my ironic enjoyment compared to actual great filmmaking at play. Because the whole thing is entertaining, but it's a matter of breaking down each scene into, I liked this one because the premise was just silly, or here Nicolas Cage gave a genuinely good performance, or here Travolta gave kind of a silly one that I was laughing at, but it was still entertaining because of that. I'm going to settle on a 7 out of 10 or a 3.5 star.
Yeah.
I can watch this movie anytime. I do feel that in that latter half there is just a little chunk, as you said, where it does drag a bit. I feel like if you could just take 10-15 minutes out, it would be just like perfect for me. But as it is, 7 out of 10.
Take his face off.
On.
Eyes, ears, everything. Off.
Head, shoulders, knees, toes.
Whatever he said.
Maybe that's what the sequel should be, face on.
Before you go to the Reddit questions, I had a weird idea that I thought of and I put in my phone that I'd like to get your thoughts on. And it might be the stupidest thing ever, but I just
right.
So
yeah, please.
I injured my wrists. I've been trying a lot of different things, staying off of it, supplements. And one of these things that I tried was CBD oil. And because, on the same thing that I purchased the CBD, I was like, I'll just get some THC stuff too. So I did a weed for the first time in a long time. And I forgot that it just makes you think of all these stupid, like, theoretical concepts and just like, oh, what if blah, blah, blah. So one of the things I thought of when I was doing a whole weed was, what if IMDb or any other website like it allowed you to rate scenes just the same way that you can rate TV episodes? Because you can have the rating for the show, right? So in something like Invincible, you rate the overall show. But then if you click on episodes, you see that each episode has an individual rating. And I thought that there would be some really interesting implications to that. But first, I want to hear what your thoughts on that idea are.
No, I like that idea.
Yeah?
That's actually a great idea if you wanted to gather data on the scenes people love from movies. You could actually break it down really granularly if you had that data. If you had all that metadata on the films. Yeah, I'm sure Netflix actually has that stuff.
I wonder.
Well, they have like viewer engagement, right? So they know which scenes people like the most, right?
I wonder. Because the implication for like filmmakers, if let's say as a corporation that makes movies, like IMDb is owned by Amazon and Amazon has Amazon Prime. If let's say they wanted to use that data and be like, okay, what scenes really work? What do people want to see more of in this film? Why didn't this film work as successfully or something like that? That information could be there, and it would be really interesting. And also, like, scenes are already broken up in that way, like chapter selection, Blu-rays, etc. Like, the scenes already exist in that way. And, you could organize a movie and have the scenes shown in the exact same way that you could list the TV episodes in a television show. So I think it would be interesting.
Sure.
I don't know. The only real concern would be it would just like further the automation and robotic factory nature of filmmaking if that's what it leads to. But who knows? I don't know. Like, if people like a thing and people want to see more of a thing.
Yeah. To me, I just think of the problem would be how you would display it, like some kind of user interface. Because when you break down a film, it's like hundreds of scenes sometimes.
Just the same way you do with the TV shows already. Yeah.
So what, you go into an episode, then you go into that episode, and then it breaks it down even more granularly into each.
Oh, if you wanted to do scenes from episodes, then I guess it would break it down even more. But I was talking about scenes from movies. So in the same way that, like, if you go to just any TV show thing on IMDb right now, like Invincible, you see the rating for the overall show, and then just above the poster and underneath the title, you see episode guide. You click on that, and then you see each episode has its own page and its own rating, which I always like going through anyway when I'm watching a TV show, because I like to know which episodes people don't like as much, which episodes people like the best. And, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. It would be interesting if that same information existed for scenes. It was like, what was everyone's favorite scene of the movie,
Yeah.
on average?
Yeah, and I could see a main page where they rank all of the scenes, like, of all time. And it's like, probably all the best movies. The Goodfellas scene.
Yeah, that could be cool.
What Am I, a Clown? And you'd see, like, that's, like, number 3 or whatever. Yeah, I could totally see that working. That'd be sick. And then a bottom list of
worst
scenes.
Worst scenes and best movies and stuff like that.
Scenes from the room be ranked, like, 0.1. Oh, hi, Danny. Like, that scene.
What are you talking about? That scene's a masterpiece.
I just like to watch you guys. Like, that scene will be on there. Just 1 star.
3 is a crowd. All right, thanks for humoring me.
You just need a big user base.
That's cool.
Because if you're getting that granular, you need lots of people.
I want more rating sites. Yeah, I want like a video game rating site. I want Letterboxd to have TV shows.
I mean, IMDb does have video games listed.
Yeah, that's true. I want one of just like short films, like a rating site for just short films.
That would be unprofitable.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they don't do it. Because, feature films are profitable because there's a whole industry built around them, which is why there's a rating site around them. For short films, there's not the same thing because those don't make as much money, right? They're not as but those are still films. Like the fact that you wouldn't call a film because of its length is like absurd. Like a film could be a minute long, it's still a movie. Like it's the same as Face Off. It's just like To Boldly Flee. That's a film. It's 3.5 hours long or whatever the fuck.
In the last episode of the podcast, we were mentioning the Oscar shorts, and you said, "I don't give a shit about shorts, and nobody watches those." And now I would like a shorts dedicated website. Like what?
I'm an infamous hypocrite.
Okay. All right. Questions from Reddit.
And that's true, by the way. No one does give a shit about shorts because of what I just said.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I don't know what the solution to that is.
Damn it.
Give a shit about short films. That's the solution.
Maybe access. Maybe if you just got them on Netflix or something, people watch them.
Well, now that we have Netflix, right, I think that's become more common because you just click on something on Netflix, like that David Lynch movie or the Paul Thomas Anderson movie he made with Radiohead. That one. Mm-hmm. That's a short film, but people just click on it on Netflix. They're like, I don't know how long it is. I don't care. I think that exposes more people to that kind of thing. But it's really rare.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel short films have that same that connotation? Like they're not as important or not as profitable. Like
I mean,
you just said, as like a feature film.
Hopefully streaming services kind of change that. I watched Almodovar's new short film with Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton. And it wasn't bad, but it was just on HBO Max, and it was kind of cool that it was just accessible through there. Because like you don't. Before streaming, it's like, I don't know, what do? You're not going to put it in theaters. Like at Pixar, you'll put it before another movie.
Yeah, that's the main reason I would never see them.
You maybe film festivals, and you throw a bunch of shorts together to make a feature-length thing at film festivals, but you can't sell it in a movie theater. And then you don't want to put it on YouTube for free, so streaming kind of takes care of that,
Of course. Yeah, big movies want to raise the bar. They make their movies really long. Like Avengers movies, 2.5 hours. Pixar movies, 2 hours. But a short film, I think, it's just substantial. I hope it gets the same amount of credit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Short films are like kind of proof of concept for feature-length films in a way. Not even necessarily like for the same script and same idea.
I don't like short films like that. I like the short films that stand on their own and have nothing. But you are right.
They're often expanded, aren't they? By Whiplash or
like Whiplash. Yeah.
You don't have to make something like Whiplash with the intention of making a feature Whiplash by saying proof of concept for that specific idea. But what I'm saying is like proof of concept that like a director can do something competent, right? So, maybe there are like a couple ideas and things sprinkled from one short film that make it into your feature. Like Sam Raimi did some stupid short film before he made Evil Dead. It was just to prove to some producers like, hey, like we can make a scary thing, right? And there are tiny little moments and ideas that made it into the feature, but it wasn't necessarily like just the same thing, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just to prove that you can do something, really, as a director, I guess.
I'd say the structure of a short film is much more different. It's much looser. Maybe because you have less time to tell it. It's much more, I feel like it could be more personal than maybe like a studio manufactured feature film, There's not as many studio manufactured short films, not as much of a market. Kind of like the Pixar movies, maybe. I like those. That's it.
All right, Reddit questions?
Okay. Let's do some questions from the Reddit community then. If you want to leave your own questions, head over to the Sardonicast subreddit, where there's a suggestion thread where you can ask whatever you like. Johnny the Fancy Man's going to start us off. So, this is a question for Adam. I was wondering something about your top 10 best movies of the year lists. You have once said that you always watch movies twice to be sure they are worthy to become a part of your lists. But my question is, then which movies have been discarded after the second watch? I love you guys. Keep up the good work. Greetings from Denmark.
I don't have ones off the top of my head. They're they're ones that just like didn't connect with me as much, and I feel like I've definitely come across one of these in the past week just on my ratings on IMDb, but they're so like not popular that I don't know if I could name them. I'm expecting that will happen to The Unknown Girl by Jean-Pierre and Luc Dardenne, right? Right. There's an example, but like who the fuck knows or cares about that movie, right? So I don't know. Notable ones, I couldn't even tell you. It's just sometimes for movies that really connect with me, they're probably not going to be discarded from my list. But sometimes there's ones where there were a lot of things that I liked about the movie, and maybe it didn't fully connect with me. And I thought, you know what, maybe it'll be different on a second watch, and maybe it, you always have to weigh like how much you appreciate something versus how much you actually genuinely connect with and love something, right? And so a second watch really helps to solidify that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Some movies suck on a rewatch. You realize it's like there's like nothing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's important. Definitely.
Yeah, because I rewatched parts of the Snyder Cut, and without because the first time I saw it, the whole intrigue was the comparison, with that original. So watching it when you're just trying to pay attention to the story, there's a lot less to it. Got to admit.
Yeah, watching it as a film on its own, I think it's a little better. I still have criticisms with that, though.
Yeah.
Why
did you rewatch the Snyder Cut out of curiosity, or parts of it?
Review it.
I'm just fascinated by it.
Yeah?
I don't know what it is. I get a lot of humor out of it too.
Okay,
it's not as bad as the other one.
No,
I'm more.
It's mostly that last 20 minutes. I'm just blown away by it in the Snyder Cut with the Joker.
Did you see Henry Cavill released a video like telling fans to calm down?
Oh yeah,
the Snyder Cut
so
or
funny.
Something, like really.
Did you...
and I'm like, why would I waste my time watching that shit? It's just like, okay. I saw the title. I guess I get the idea.
It was a short video. Did you see that Warner Brothers posted a trailer for the 4K release of the Justice Cut, and it's like downvoted to shit? And everybody's like, why would you give me a 4K Blu-ray of the Snyder Cut? It's so funny. But like, I mean, like, read the room. Come on, Warner Brothers. Like,
yeah. Because there was that new article, wasn't there, with saying about
like, why would you even
Gadot
release the
speaking up about it?
Snyder Cut? Yeah, let's see. 127,000 dislikes, 5,000 likes.
Actually, I'm gonna look.
Oh
this
my
up.
God, the comments.
I didn't even know they were doing this. It's actually shocking to me.
It's so funny.
That tone deaf.
Oh yeah, April 28th. So this was after the release of Snyder Cut, and they decided to release that trailer. It's like,
what are they thinking?
Yeah, like maybe release like a 4K Blu-ray combo pack with both versions. That could be cool. Why not capitalize on both?
Have it as a special feature.
Yeah,
in the Snyder Cut.
Like that's hilarious.
Joss Whedon is such a fucking dickwad.
Yeah.
Yeah, reading about some of his behavior on set sounded pretty
fucking
inappropriate,
piece
to say
of
the least.
shit.
Jesus.
All right, next question.
Okay. Let's do this one from Owl Brick. In an interview regarding Tenet, when asked about what genre he'd like to tackle next, Christopher Nolan said he'd be interested in making a horror film someday. Do you think this could work? Also, what genre would you like to see handled by a director of your choice?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would be really interested by that because he loves this whole like overwhelming with the presentation stuff. I'd like to see that instead of being through sci-fi or action, be going for horror, trying to scare you.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would be very interested in seeing it. I wonder how much he would try to like closely emulate Kubrick, or how much of it would be his own thing. I wonder if he would incorporate time still, because you could argue that there are like kind of existential horror elements of like Interstellar. Like there's some really fucked up conceptual horror in that movie that I kind of like, even though the movie as a whole isn't amazing.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So like that already exists in some of his films, debatably, really, even though they're more like dramatic, I guess.
Tarantino, there's been some talks. Do you know he was going to make a Star Trek movie?
I know.
Some
Who knows
in it.
what's happening with that?
Although I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I might be interested in that. Some kind of science fiction film from him might be cool. That might be why he's at least in talks with it, because he wants to do something science fiction related, which would be different for him. That's the only reason why I'd suggest it. I think it'd be cool. Star Trek's a lot about like character relationships too. Like, yeah, there's science fiction stuff, but it's mostly just about people talking. I think Tarantino could write that well. That would be my pick.
Yeah, because I guess he kind of dabbled in horror with Death Proof, but that's more the grindhousey horror. It's not really.
Yeah.
There's a lot more room.
I guess his horror would be cool, like a giallo kind of film.
I'm confident that Quentin Tarantino could do like really cool horror stuff. It's just whether or not he could restrain himself from doing goofy bullshit. Because like if Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was kind of that. Like in scenes leading up to the climax, I guess I'll try to not spoil this. We'll see how I phrase this. Scenes leading up to the climax of the film definitely have horror elements that work really well, and it's really like patient and methodical and like creepy and kind of like almost like a Polanski horror kind of like way. Yeah, and I really liked that, but then he just couldn't fucking help himself, and then the whole movie is just a laughable joke at the end sort of thing. If he followed through and like kept the seriousness and tackled like really horror type things, I think he could actually do it really well. It's just how much can he restrain himself?
I would like to see that from him, because that's like what Eli Roth does, like with Green Inferno. Is that it? It's just shit.
It's
like
bad.
The horror elements of that, but it's too over the top. It's too much gore. Yeah, if Tarantino did something like that, it would suck.
Well, this is why I'm so excited for Last Night in Soho from Edgar Wright, because I don't think it's supposed to have a comedy slant. So for him, it will be interesting to see maybe a more serious interpretation that's not
very
like
exciting
Western or whatever. Yeah.
This year apparently.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. Damn.
It's supposed to be last year. It was supposed to be last year, but
I know, right?
Everything shut down. That would have been great. We could have gotten it last year. I'm glad I got Tenet at least.
If we don't get like some crazy good movies by the end of this year, I'm just gonna be so mad, because that's the whole selling point. Is like all these things that couldn't get released in 2020.
There's a lot of good stuff coming out, I think.
There's a lot of things I'm excited for sure.
Yeah, I've been happy with a lot of stuff that came out. Like, it's not great. I like Nobody a lot with Bob Odenkirk.
Looking forward to that.
Mortal Kombat was fine. Yeah, Mortal Kombat's, it's better than what I've been getting recently. I'm gonna look up a list of what's coming out.
In 2021? There's a bunch. There's like a new Wes Anderson, right?
Yeah, something. Fuck, I forgot the name of it, but you're right. It'll probably say here. Spiral is coming out in May. That's later this month.
I'm so mad. Because I just want them to wait like 2 more months and then I'll be like vaccinated.
I'm not too excited for Cruella. Cruella. That's the Disney one with Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Kind of looks bad. I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Quiet
be
Place
forced
Part
to watch
2.
It. My roommate really wants to see it.
Another Conjuring sequel. Who gives a fuck? Luca, I'd see that. That looks good. That's Pixar's new movie.
Guadagnino.
F9, the Fast and Furious 9. That kind of looks dumb.
Oh yeah, it looks really dumb.
Yeah. Zola. We saw Zola actually, Adam, because I met you in Sundance. We saw it. Yeah, that was cool. The movie was okay.
It was. Yeah. Nothing to write home about, but it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking.
They made the white guy in it. The only white guy in it was like a dumbass. I'm like, great. The director, you mean?
No,
or, the actors?
One of the actors in it was really good though.
Riley Keough.
I like her a lot.
She's good.
She's awesome.
Yeah, I like her too.
She's been really impressing me in a lot of movies recently.
Speaking of people I like, Florence Pugh was in Black Widow.
P.U.
So that'll be Florence Pugh. Space Jam 2 in July.
Yeah.
Space Jam 2, we're going to watch that, right?
More like Space Jam Poo.
Agreed.
Got him.
Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson.
Yes, they've been holding all those goodies for us.
Yeah. That's a lot of good stuff, though. I feel like I'd watch all those.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. Like, at least unironically, I'd watch.
The Suicide Squad.
I said the word wrong. The Suicide Squad. Yeah. The good one.
The definitive Suicide Squad.
Shang-Chi, Venom, The Sopranos movie, Dune.
Oh, I forgot.
James Bond,
that's
Halloween.
Shit, I guess I should fucking binge The Sopranos and finally watch it.
The Eternals. There's a new Eternals. That's later this year.
That's the Marvel, right? Aren't they releasing like 3 Marvel movies?
That's Chloe Zhao's, I believe. That Ghostbusters movie, remember that shit? That's coming out.
Oh, dear, yeah. Paul Rudd one.
Top Gun Maverick. That's much later this year.
So this is all coming out this year. Okay, it's pretty. Yeah, it is pretty packed then.
A lot of competition, I guess.
Yeah.
Apparently, Matrix 4 we're getting this year. That might get pushed back.
Dear.
Oh yeah.
There are going to be some big losers.
Direct to HBO Max.
Kingsman. Yeah, that's about it. But and then we got Wes Anderson's new movie.
Any year with a new Edgar Wright and a new Wes Anderson is probably a good year. We'll leave it at that.
There's a lot of fun stuff.
Probably more shit coming out too.
I'm excited.
Yeah. What was the question?
It was about directors who want to do horror movies that haven't done it.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan could do it. I think Quentin Tarantino could do it well. He would just need to contain himself. I guess that's my answer.
I think any good director could do it. They might have to make it a horror comedy. Edgar Wright's made a horror comedy. I think that's his best film. That's like an incredible movie. Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Tarantino should try that, or anybody. Doesn't have to be like a horror film, like really like Hereditary, fucking disturbing. It just depends what you're into, what kind of movie you want to make. Even those are kind of comedies, right? Like Hereditary, definitely Midsommar is a bit of a comedy, a bit funny.
Not as much as like Shaun of the Dead or anything, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't really think of the humor as much.
Very mild, definitely.
Yeah.
The sacrifice scenes aren't funny.
Ari Aster makes horror movies with like a couple comedy elements, whereas Edgar Wright makes comedy movies with a couple horror elements.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
There's one genre that supersedes the other.
Mm-hmm. You kind of need a little of both. You can't just make you can make a straight up horror movie, but I don't find those as interesting. Just like a tad of comedy, I think, is a little...
I don't know. Depends on what you're going for.
It's like a little bit of salt,
Yeah.
Add a little bit of salt to the meal.
It really depends what you're going for.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
Yeah.
I like my horror movies bleak.
Yeah, hopeless.
Yeah, it just depends.
I want my heart ripped out, like in Hereditary.
Yeah, I want to see like 10 dead children.
The Shining.
Liam Bilski has one for us. Are there any actors/actresses that scare you in a strange way? For example, Tim Burton hesitated casting Christopher Walken in his second Batman movie because he was very afraid of him. We mentioned him a couple times this episode, but I get that from Jared Leto a little bit. I'm a bit frightened of him. He seems a little bit unhinged. I don't know if that's just the Joker coming out, but I get it in Blade Runner. I get it in...
I don't feel that way. He seems too cringe. He's uncringed. Sorry, he is cringe.
Sure.
He's not uncringed.
Oh, okay.
I always say her name wrong. Saoirse Ronan.
There's something scary about that, though.
Saoirse. She's in that movie, Hannah. That was the first time I saw her. I thought she looked fucking freaky looking in that. It scared the shit out of me, I thought. And, I saw her, like, Brooklyn. I'm like, wow, she's a very beautiful woman. Like, this is great. And then, like... But in Hannah, she's fucking freaky looking. Her hair, she has like these really bleached eyebrows, like the pale skin. And I guess just her character in that too. She's like a genetic mutant who like beats up people. Like she's genetically enhanced. It's like freaky.
Yeah,
that's probably. I guess that's what makes it a good movie. Is because I was actually like I believe that character and I was like scared of her. That's what made it a good movie.
If you were to get me to pick a scary actor, I don't know. If I'm thinking of like scared, I would pick like an actor that would just like, if I could imagine them getting upset at me for no reason. Like if I were interacting with them and I did something and it was just like, oh no, I brought you like the wrong size of M&M's candy or something, and they just like fucking have a grudge at me for the rest of their life. But I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Is it Jennifer Lawrence? If it's Jennifer Lawrence, then her. Maybe she's the one. Maybe she's the type that
I was
does
just
that.
thinking like a role in a movie.
I was thinking
like
actors.
thinking real life, like someone like an actor in real life who creeped me out. Oh yeah, well there's like a million of them who are like predators. Like Kevin Spacey. I don't want if he could be in like 10 miles away.
Yeah, but
when you're that crazy, I'm almost like intrigued though. I'm like less scared and more like, what is going on?
No, I'm not intrigued by Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I'm pretty scared of him.
You'd be intrigued by me, probably.
If someone has so much money and power, then I could be, and I know they're psychotic, then it's like, how easy would it be for them to just hire a hitman and get away with it? Like, because the more money you have, like, the more plausible that is, right?
Go on the dark web, get you a hitman.
He'll just House of Cards you himself.
Isn't that easy? You just go get like a hitman for
the more money and power you have, the easier it is.
Yeah.
Like, it would be
better not mess
weird
around, guys. I'm going to send a hitman
that doesn't
to your house. I'm going to own all of Sardonicast, send 2 hitmen.
Kevin Spacey might kill people. You never know.
He's probably killed a few people.
Yeah, wasn't there somebody who was going to, like, sue him and then they died or something? Maybe I'm just making shit up. Let's
see. That's crazy. There's a lot of stories like that, though. There's just people happen to die. There was like a guy who invented he invented the water car, like a car that ran on H2O.
Yeah, like,
and then a day later he was poisoned. Like he was going to show it to people at BP Oil, and then he got poisoned.
Yeah,
like, at a time. It's like, I don't know how true that's like ridiculous.
2019,
I think that's fucking stupid. But just hearing stories like that makes me laugh my ass off. Like, yeah, the world is like controlled by oil companies, and that's it.
Yeah. This has been reported on in late 2019. There was
this is actually real.
An accuser.
Okay. What you're saying.
Someone was suing. Yeah, Kevin Spacey. They were accusing him of like groping in the lawsuit, and the lawsuit was dismissed because he died, just a freak accident or something. Let's see, how did he die?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Have you seen his occasional YouTube upload?
Oh, they're great.
That's sick. That's
so funny.
Yeah. Well, they're great in like a sick way.
He's like in character. It's so weird.
He's in character, like making. It's almost like a binging with Babish type. He's cooking food.
That's a funny
He's like
comparison.
In his kitchen. It is weird, but that's what he's trying to be like. Like, hi everyone, how you doing? I'm just cooking some food, doing my thing, and I'm gonna tell you, even though he's like a fucking a predator, a pedophile, like the worst fucking scumbag of a human being you can imagine, American Beauty's still a good movie, and so is 9 Lives. 9 Lives is a masterpiece,
I don't know if it's giving me details on the death, but I don't know. I'll look this up later. It's a little difficult to find.
He should be in jail. Like, what? He should be making YouTube videos from his jail cell.
Now that would be method acting.
That I would actually watch. I think that would be fucking awesome. Kevin Spacey in jail, like
his YouTube channel,
cooking. I don't know, some really shitty prison food, like chili.
Chili. I got a question for both of you. I was having this argument yesterday. Is it still chili if it doesn't have beans in it?
It's a core ingredient, I feel like.
Yeah, me too. I feel that way.
Well, if it's just like chopped meat,
then it's just meat sauce.
That's chili. Well, because I've had chili with just like chopped meat in it, and I think that
it's not chili.
I don't know. It's not chili, man. I guess it's just chopped meat then. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
it's just meat
sauce. It
sauce.
Actually means chili with meat. Is what it like.
That's what it means.
It's described as on Wikipedia, meaning chili with meat.
I mean, but then you have to add the qualifier, though, right?
Chili peppers, meat, tomatoes, and kidney beans. Yeah, to me, I feel like it would be incomplete without the beans. It'd be like, oh shit, I forgot the
core
beans.
ingredient.
That's like the main thing that makes this meal what it is, Just in my personal view, but,
In conclusion, it's not chili if it doesn't have beans. We need Gordon Ramsay to weigh in. Everybody tweet Gordon Ramsay. We need to know.
Let's do this one from Little Stuckman, who says, I'm not sure if this question has been asked, but if you were ever given the opportunity and resources to remake a film of your choice, for example, a film that you feel could be improved in some way or a new take on the same idea could be done, what would it be?
If I had the resources and experience and talent to be able to communicate the vision in my head for a Death Note movie, I think I could do a better job than Adam Wingard. Even if I didn't have the money and resources and talent, I think I could do a better job than Adam Wingard. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, my answer is in a similar kind of vein, going off a show. I was talking to Ralph about this before we were recording, but I just watched Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time. So thinking about M. Night's movie version and how much of a travesty that is compared to the source material. It would be tough. It would be really tough to translate that story. But if you went in with like a big chunky runtime and did a trilogy the proper way, I feel like you could do more, at least.
I bet you could do better. Anyone could do better than that. I mean, that was awful. It's a lot of material to adapt, yeah. I see one day, like, movies will be seen as almost like classic novels, where they're just adapting, like, Macbeth 100 times, like classic Shakespeare plays, you know? Yeah. There's, like, 100 Macbeth movies. So I think they will be remaking classic Hollywood movies eventually, whether we like it or not. Like Godfather, you know, I think they will be, like, making that again. I would kind of like to remake The Godfather, not in an insulting way, just because there will be a million Godfather movies, I feel, in the future, because it's such a great movie. That is, like, the best movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like 200 years from now, when it's royalty free, why wouldn't you remake a Godfather movie? It's the best story ever told. You could just, you know, get a bunch of great actors to recreate it. Like a Shakespeare in the Park type thing, where they just go out for free, you know? Like, these incredible actors go out for free and perform Shakespeare, because it's so good. You know, they'll do the same thing for classic movies. Cuckoo's Nest, you know, anything like that.
Gus Van Sant remade Psycho because he was like, somebody else is just going to do it. Yeah. And then we got...
That's what I'd like to
remake. Got Vince Vaughn.
There's a novelty in remaking bad movies, too, because you can improve them.
Yeah?
But
yeah, it's way harder to remake a good movie.
People love the same stories over and over again. They do love that, as evidenced by the Lion King remakes, you know, making tons of money.
Disney's whole movie.
Yeah. It's the same story, but people love the same story again.
I think it would be a very interesting kind of challenge for a talented film. If you got like a really, really talented writer-director and you tasked them with remaking, I don't know, The Room or Birdemic, but they reworked the story so that it was actually like competent and like a good movie.
Don't you feel it's a waste of time?
No, it would be very interesting.
Remake The Room.
No, because I
feel like it's better to remake something good, like The Godfather.
No, I'm just saying it would be like a really interesting film experiment, right? Where it's like, can they sell? No, I'm not saying they have to have the exact same script. I'm saying you could take the base concept and rework it in a way that it would like actually make sense. And perhaps there will be some elements that stay in, and perhaps most of the film will be removed and it's just characters' names. Who knows? Like, what is the percentage of what you would have to change about the film to make it work is the real question, right? Because like you could take Birdemic and improve it dramatically by just having better looking birds. Right? You know, you could take the same base story. I mean, it's just the Hitchcock's The Birds, right? There's things about it that could
I'd say The Room is like pretty bad and almost bland in a lot of ways, except for the X Factor, which is Tommy Wiseau. Or like in all of these bad movies, there's Neil Breen, or there's someone like that who gives it the personality that makes it interesting. I feel if you take that away, it's not as good. Like The Room without Tommy Wiseau is, what even is it? It's just kind of... It's like a Lifetime movie, right?
Yeah, The Room without Tommy Wiseau is just the disaster artist, James Franco.
And that was fine, although he's like, he's being a creep, I heard.
As you do in Hollywood.
Come on, guys.
Give it a rest, goddammit.
Come on, people.
Disaster artist, I guess it's okay. I guess Dave Franco's okay.
Yeah, he's all right.
Come on, Dave. Don't let us down.
Wasn't it James?
They're both in it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Which one's?
James and Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Dave is like Greg Sestero.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay. He's just, I just saw
what a forgettable movie. I didn't even remember. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, The Room is much more memorable. And that movie starts, remember, with a bunch of celebrities telling you how great The Room is. Like, J.J. Abrams, like, or Lizzie Kaplan. I saw this movie, it blew me away. Who cares? It's not about you. It's about The Room.
I find it an interesting testament of just how much of a cultural phenomenon The Room is, that you can make an entire movie that only works if you've seen The Room, really. Because the whole movie is literally just references, like, oh, he said, oh, hi, Mark, haha. Right? That's the whole movie. Is that he did the thing. So
yeah, definitely.
Clearly because it was successful, then that's a testament to The Room.
I wish I could put myself in the shoes of someone who hasn't seen The Room and just watch that movie, like as a biopic. Maybe in the future. The Room is so iconic, you can't not avoid it. I thought the movie was fine, but
a documentary on Tommy would be more interesting than that.
There is a documentary on Tommy Wiseau called Room Full of Spoons, and a screener link was sent to me in like 2016, and I will forever regret not clicking on it because I'm not able to watch it anymore because there was a gigantic lawsuit that eventually the filmmakers won against Tommy Wiseau. So Tommy Wiseau tried to prevent them from actually screening the film. And so this movie from 2016 might be coming out, I don't know, in the next year or so. It would be nice if it came out before my fucking 2016 list is done, because that would be cool.
Oh, so why did he want to suppress it so bad?
Yeah.
Apparently it answers some questions about, like, I don't know, how he got his money or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because that's, like, the big question, I guess.
It's like, it apparently goes into his personal life a bit or something, but I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't seen it. So.
Stuff he doesn't want people to know about, though.
And also, he's just kind of an asshole. He tried to prevent Nostalgia Critics review a long time ago, right? Like, that was a big thing. Yeah. Like, Tommy Wiseau is just a very not self-aware person, so big surprise.
Yeah, I saw him in person in London.
Because he only has one movie. It's not like a film company where they have like thousands of movies that they don't give a shit. It's like that's his only movie, so people make reviews of it. He takes it very personally. This is so stupid. I can't like imagine the CEO of Warner Brothers like suing someone, or well, I guess they do that as well. But it's so absurd that like a giant company would sue someone like for making a review. It's a review of a movie.
Yeah.
What's the?
They don't understand the internet though.
Right. What's the moral gray area? Like it's there's clearly a difference between someone uploading a movie and someone reviewing a movie. If you can't see that, you're just like, I don't know, he must be sick.
He needs to gather more money for his next project, his next TV show, whatever he's up to.
His next fucking piece of garbage that doesn't matter. Like, he hasn't done anything since The Room.
Oh, he's done things that are just not funny.
Fucking terrible things, like that terrible show where he's doing like Let's Plays of video games, The Neighbors, or that Let's Play series he had. He can't even play video games because he's a fucking dumbass.
Yep, he's definitely no Neil Breen. I love that. No. I love Neil Breen with the bottom of my heart.
Neil Breen just makes movies. He does his thing. Does real estate or whatever the fuck he does on the side, and then he makes great movies,
the best movies.
Like, he's not trying to,
like, you can't fix Neil Breen's movies. There's nothing to fix.
Tommy Wiseau, like, he would have gone to the Oscars if they had invited him, but they didn't because they knew he would have made a fucking circus like he did the Golden Globes, right? Then he get up on the stage and everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of Golden Globes, there's all that shit out. Like, all these actors came out against the Golden Globes.
Oh, yeah, it's funny. You know, and streaming
they're
services.
Stupid. The Hollywood Foreign Press are stupid, and they pick stupid movies.
They, like, sign some, like, open letter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but, like, big actors like Scarlett Johansson, it's like, yeah, good. Not that she's the best person, but, like, they are. They pick shitty fucking movies, and it's clearly biased.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say that's even worse than the Oscars. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and even the Oscars
it's
were
worse than the Oscars.
This year.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Imagine having something that's worse than the Oscars. Imagine being worse than the Oscars. So unanimously too.
Yeah, that's a feat. Let's end on this one then from Goosey McGooseface 2. Were there any movies / TV shows / games that were banned by your parents, and in your later life, do you agree with their decision? I wasn't allowed Grand Theft Auto until I was 18, and nowadays I get why. The one that stands out in my mind was, I think I was playing the original BioShock, like on my TV after I got home from school. And my mum like came into the living room and saw me like smacking a splicer with the like wrench from the beginning. She was like, "Oh, I don't want you playing that," and then took it away. No, that's my main one. Yeah, I guess I was a bit too young.
I was always very honest with my mom about the video games. I would just like describe it to her. So I'm like, GTA, you're open world. I describe what an open world is. I want to take forever.
Yeah,
but like you could do whatever you want. You could run over people with cars. And she's like, nah, maybe not yet. But this is like San Andreas era where it looked like shit. Yeah. So I'd say even if I were to play it, I don't know. I don't think that would have made me into a shooter or anything. That's fucking absurd. It's ridiculous. I think people who say that about video games, but like GTA 4 I thought was great. I played that when I was like 15. I think like that's like a teenager could play those things. Cool. It's a video game. Like, who fucking cares? It's not real life. Like, just do whatever you want.
Parents, they don't understand it, so they're scared of it.
Yeah, if the game is like has some horrible material in it, that's on the game makers. That's not on the you know, the guy buying the game. what, because it's rated M, like that matters at all. GameStop people used to be a pain in the ass too. I was trying to buy Arkham Knight, and the guy was really trying to like skew my mom away from buying the game.
Oh,
like,
what?
Yeah, like Scarecrow gives out this LSD like substance that makes Batman. It's like give me a fucking break. Like Batman's not on LSD. Yeah, it's like please, like he's not trying to.
He's an anti-hero.
It's a fictional. Yeah, it's a comic book. It's not. It's like give me a fucking break with this nonsense.
Stupid LSD.
Yeah, but we bought the game anyway because my mom's not a fucking moron.
Yeah, this Batman games are too inappropriate. Yeah.
Gotta get a cool mom. I was thinking about Mother's Day. That's why. Very in theme.
Well, I was actually never allowed to play GTA either. Just because of the name, I think, and because it just being in the news and shit. But it never bothered me because I never really cared about GTA until GTA 5 came out.
Mm-hmm. There was a VHS tape in the TV room in the basement, and my parents took me aside and pointed it out and said, "Never watch this." And it just sat there. And I don't remember when I watched it, but it was Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's just like the lips on the cover. And then it's like, I don't know, eventually when I watched it, it was like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like out of all, they showed me the Terminator when I was like 7. Like why would you... Rocky Horror Picture Show is like so weird.
With movies, they were not the same way. Like I was allowed to watch basically whatever I wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that I'd ever steer that far
Terminator.
Outside of my bounds. I never did. But yeah, I watched RoboCop and those kinds of things, and violent shit. But it was funny. Maybe we're just being like cynical old men. Like back in the day, people were like, moms were like, I would never let my kid watch RoboCop. It's too violent. But 40 years before that was violent books or
rock music,
controversial books, comic books,
or a married couple being shown in the same room on television, like
like that, or anything,
or interracial kissing on Star Trek.
Any kind of taboo subject matter.
Yeah. And then you realize that people are just fucking stupid.
I mean, even violent video games have become more taboo. I know Fortnite isn't quite, like, it's not violent, but you're shooting people. It's like the point of it. You kill, it's like a battle royale.
My restriction from video games when I was younger wasn't even based off of any particular, like, rating. I just wasn't allowed video games for a long time. So I missed out on the Nintendo generation. I played a bit of Nintendo at like a N64 at like a friend's house. And I had a Game Boy. That was like the only video game thing that I had for a while, but I loved that Game Boy.
Yeah, that was the exact same.
Yeah, Game Boy Color.
That was the exact same. I had to have a Game Boy because I wasn't allowed a console.
I had a PSP for a while. Those things weren't too great.
Yeah.
Game Boy was cool. And did you have a Game Boy like in your car? Because there's like you could have a TV screen in your car. And you could attach Game Boy games in it. So that was the best.
Weird.
You could play it in the car.
No, it was all just like a portable handheld thing. So I guess I brought it in a car. I remember having these weird, like, I still actually have them. I have, like, this is just so nostalgic for me that I just keep these things forever. But I have the, like, attachments where you, like, stick a battery-powered light on top of it because it doesn't have backlighting in the screen, so you can actually see what's going on if you're playing in the dark. And, like... these rumble packs and like all that cool shit.
The wireless trader things.
Yeah, I missed out on like the DS generation and all that.
It's so much. It's much earlier.
GameCube was the only console I had until I was a teenager. When I was 13, I got like a PS3. That's it.
The first actual console I had was original Xbox, and me and my brother saved up some money and we bought it. We had, it was our purchase, and we got Halo. And that was my first like real big console experience, and it was the fucking best. Loved it.
See, I didn't get an Xbox. I got PlayStation, so I missed out on Halo completely.
Yeah, I got a PS2 first.
I'm sure it's good. Like I could download it now.
It's on
I'm
PC
sure I'd
now.
Enjoy it. Yeah, it is on PC. Like I saw it was on sale. I should probably get it.
It's on Steam.
Not that I'd have that attachment to it that you guys did, but I'm sure it's really
do
good.
The old graphics if you do the MCC.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah,
I like that they give you that option. I thought that was a good choice. No, I'm sure. Well, it's still 4K. There's just the textures or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick though. Yeah.
The only other weird parental restriction things would be like, I rented a lot of movies from like the movie video store or whatever. And I was going through my like whole horror movie phase when I was 13, and there was a deal for 7 days, 7 movies, $7 as long as it was VHS old titles. So I just rent all like the Nightmare on Elm Streets, all the Friday the 13th, like fucking all these like dumb slasher horror movies, and I just watched like 7 of them, like basically just a horror movie every day. And I remember my mom was like, "You're gonna turn into a murderer." So like she had some like weird concerns. It was really funny. It didn't turn me into a murderer. It just made me desensitized to horror movies. Fuck, I wish I could get scared.
I like the Jaws movies, and my mom had an issue with that. But I'm like, it's not like a killer. It's just a shark. Like it's nature.
Yeah, it's a giant shark.
They are really violent. Yeah, like bloody as fuck. But you know, I don't see the issue with those.
It creates a harmful depiction and an irrational fear of sharks, though.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on what your parents are exposed to too. Because if they think Jaws is bad, then I don't know. They're not really exposed to cinema. They haven't seen Irreversible, like Gaspar Noé cinema.
By the way,
like,
that Blu-ray finally showed up.
Someone that it did finally.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna probably order it.
The other cut, it's like a limited
That's
run.
A really
so if you're thinking
movie.
about ordering it, do it now. It's like only
that
10,000
and Climax.
copies.
That's probably his best. That's his best stuff. Climax and Irreversible, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess that's it for questions. My voice is dying. We are doing our first ever group recommendation. We all talked about it, and we decided it was very, very important to do this because it is the
crucial.
What is it? 20th? What anniversary is it? 20th anniversary?
Yeah, 20th.
Yeah, of Shrek. Starring Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy, and we're gonna at least watch the first one. There's a 4K Blu-ray coming out tomorrow, so
cool. I didn't know that.
It's already out if you're listening to this. And unfortunately they didn't release the other ones on 4K. But
boo.
I'm gonna say that I'll try to watch all of them. You're not obligated to. But I'm gonna try my goddamn best to watch all of them.
I'll watch all of them. I'll watch the first 3.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see if I can keep going. I'm gonna see what I can do here. It'll be like a marathon.
I don't know if I've seen all the Shrek movies. I have not seen Puss in Boots. Maybe I'll try watching that one.
Yeah, there's like a 4th Shrek and a Puss in Boots.
That's it though, right? There's nothing else. There's Shrek 4D. I've seen that. That's a
the
Universal
holiday special. If you want to count that.
Holiday special. I think I've seen that.
Oh yeah, I'm watching everything that's in the Blu-ray pack that I bought.
Anything in the Shrekverse.
Yeah. There's also like a live-action musical that they stuck in there for some reason, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. And so if not all of us finish all of them, that's fine. But I'm gonna try my goddamn best.
The quadrilogy.
Yeah, and some spin-offs, I guess. Fucking Christmas Shrek movie or something. I don't know. Shrek the Halls is what it was called.
Shrek the Halls, that's it, yeah.
Shrek Forever After.
Yeah, that's right.
Solid stuff.
Shrek Forever After.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm hyped for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Saw Shrek 1 at the cinema.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I saw any of them in the theater, but I saw them when they came out on like video or whatever.
All right.
Saw them at home with the fam jam. Darman fam jam. All right, so if you don't want to be spoiled for Shreks, all of them, watch them before the next episode. These episodes come out every 2 weeks. And you can listen to things early if you go to Sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium, $2 a month. You'll get the episodes early. Also, patreon.com/Sardonicast. Also, we got merch. Maybe get some merch about it. And have a happy taking your face off.
I'm going to take your face off. Off.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Face on.